Afternoon, friends, and welcome in. I'm Spaceman, and this is Season 2 of the Challengers Elite. For this season, things might look a little bit different on this side of the screen, but I promise you that all the familiarity you've come to expect will contain itself. Now, let's bring in one of my favorite people in all of the land, one of my favorite co-casters. It's going to be Ellen, Dream Crazy, joining me for the action this season. We're going to be starting with Europe, but more importantly, I want to start by asking you, how's your day going, Ellen? Because we got Call of Duty we got to get through.
Listen, I'm over here trying to do deep breathing exercises. I'm so excited, Sean, for this Call of Duty just year that we have in store. The intense, exciting action that we've been just getting day by day. And just this past weekend, even with the Optic Major represent Texas. Hello, I'm from Texas. I'm sorry. I had to flex it a little bit. I had a lot of fun. If I saw you there, we had a lot of fun. But oh man, super excited. And I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun year. Vanguard has already proven to be an incredibly exciting game to watch, which caught a lot of fans by surprise. But more importantly, as we get into the swing of things, this is when this season starts to get more of a personality for a lot of these challenger teams, specifically roster changes, which we will hit on. But in this moment in time, we just got to take a look at some of the standings because there are new faces coming up into the scene. There are returning veterans and there are returning players that we want to take a look at. Ellen, when it comes to Season 2, we look at some of the returning faces and some of the newest additions of organizations getting involved, like Toronto Ultra picking up teams in both regions. I love that the CDL teams are now investing in the Challenger side. That's something we have been wanting since back in Cold War in the start, back in Modern Warfare. It's nice to see that it's finally happening.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you see just the fact that, you had mentioned the Toronto Ultra Academy team, and it's okay, they picked some up in each region, and obviously they formed from that team singularity. They combined forces, and they're super huge. But I want to see more organizations get involved in that. And hey, man, I mean, that on the other side, on the NA, on the pond, I hear that Texas Nation squad. I mean, you never know. Maybe we'll get an Academy team. But anyways, back over here as we see the schedule for today. Oh, I'm excited for Sucre's Baking Revenge Tour. I don't know about you, Sean, but that's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, you guys know the deal by now. We have a couple of matches we're going to be working through with every specific region. Of course, we will keep you updated as standings happen off screen. But for Europe, up first, Sucre's Bakery versus Revenge Tour, followed by GWR versus Ultra Academy. Again, we will get into those specific storylines when necessary, but those are the four matches we will be looking at, or the four teams, I should say, we will be looking at for Europe. And then we take a bit of a break. We have a hiatus, we get some water, we come back later today for North America. If you've watched Challengers before, you understand what the schedule looks like. Whatever it takes, 18 and cracked, Strike X versus Ultra Academy. So we're getting a nice dip in to what the Ultra Academy teams look like on both sides of the region. However, when we stick together across the pond right now for Europe, we have to talk about some of our first matchups here. We have to talk about standing and starting with Sucre's Bakery because this team not only has a lot riding on it going into this season specifically, but they're one of the fewer teams in all of the lands that have managed to keep a consistent team of four going into Season 2, Ellen. And I don't have to tell you how important, how much I love consistency and teams sticking together with what they have.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of the squads that we've seen that consistency grow. And one of the things I love about this team is their versatility and how well they adapt with each other. We'll see players pulling out snipers and certain sides of offenses and defensive sides do that. They complement each other so well that I'm really glad that they stuck together because, man, with the likes even of Super, who dominates the scene and essentially in all stat lines across the board, top 5 in every single game mode. It's simply amazing just how well that they've just managed to keep consistency going throughout stage 1 and hopefully continue to do that as we go along here in stage 2.
I mean, this team has been the epitome of consistency ever since they were able to get through the qualifiers for Stage 1. They've consistently placed top 4 through the Cups and even through Season 1. They are one of the better teams in the region, and they're going to outslay you. So that is going to be the conversation starter for today. It's Eric Boom, Sucre, Super, and Yako. I've always been a huge fan of Yako and Eric Boom. Eric Boom had a phenomenal year last year in Cold War. It was really a season where players and fans and casters like myself were putting expectations on Eric Boom to be able to step up and match a lot of those parallel ARs, and he was able to do so. Eric Boom had a phenomenal year. But I also want to talk about Revenge Tour because this is the team on the other side of the pool where they are going to have to match a lot of the slaying. And well, when we look at this specific team, they did make a change. They were thinking about how can we make this team a little bit better. It was Denta who gets replaced and Shaxter comes in, and well, you keep that core 3 of Keza, Mythics, and Watson. That's going to be an interesting one, Alan.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we talk about Denza, and I mean, what like a run this guy's had. He was a part originally of that Money For Him squad, and then he ended up in, I believe, what was it? Oh my gosh, I just had this written down. My notes are everywhere. Was it original squad? He just had moved around and just hadn't found certain successes, and essentially had been, that's two squads you essentially had that core foundation with, and it's like, was he really the problem? Because Denza brings a lot to the table. This guy is amazing, especially with the MP40 in his hand. And I mean, I don't know, but coming in with this, with Revenge Tour, I mean, I just really think that he's going to bring some element to this team that with Keza and then it's just going to really just mesh well together.
Sure. Yeah, well, you bring up Chaxter from TMNT, who unfortunately they weren't even able to really make it to the playoffs. They placed 6th in season 1, so it's going to be interesting for Chaxter. He has a lot of shoes to fill in this one, but specifically for this series ahead, it's the layout that matters most. Let's take a look at the maps. Map 1, again, it's going to be Tuscan for the first 3. We're going to get a nice fill of Tuscan, followed by Bocage to round things out if we have to go to a game 5. Regardless, though, this is one of those map mode combos where we look at Sucre's Bakery, some of the better maps and hardpoints that they have. You're looking at Bocage and Berlin. So early on, Tuscan Hardpoint, Revenge Tour, while they may struggle in Hardpoint, you have to feel a little bit more confident for that team in this early pick. You got a Tuscan Hardpoint to kick things off, Ellen.
Yeah, and that's kind of a shocker here. 3 Tuscans, no Berlin. Going into this, obviously we know Tuscan Hardpoint. It's just a really kind of a fast-paced map. We're going to really see a lot of those pressures from the MP40, getting those early rotations in, just being able to set yourself up in positions where obviously you're benefiting spawns, but also certain hills we're going to be seeing some type of switch-ups where you may see fighting from the front, fighting from the back, but in terms of Tuscan, I'm really going to see, expect to see a lot of pressure, especially from Super. And, Yako, one of those players that, again, last year had a little bit of team changes in with, he played with, Journey Metals. And now just finding success with this squad, and you like to see it. I expect to see a lot from him. And, again, it's just going to be really awesome to see kind of those square offs, just how much pressure that they can apply on this map and how they can utilize their positions. And
yeah,
I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see. Not a Berlin, that's interesting, but I'm excited to get into it. Oh my gosh, we're already jumping in. It's like I still wanted to keep talking about the players, and we're already going into it, Sean.
It's gonna be a fun one. The bombs are somehow on the map, but we're going to be getting into Hardpoint first for the start of this series. And again, when we talk about Sucre's Bakery, one of the more interesting sides of it, you look at Super's performance in Season 1. He led most of the region with his overall KD, a 1.30 overall. His hardpoints were ridiculous, and you're looking at around 20 non-traded kills in Hardpoint to kick things off. He's very difficult to get down, and that's the key factor. If Super has a good season this year, you could be looking at Sucre's Bakery potentially making its top 3, making a run through the playoffs. But it all really comes down to consistency and efficiency throughout. But early on, we're looking for a scrappy hardpoint. We're looking to get into this one.
Yeah, and absolutely, Sucre's Bakery, just having that complete control. I mean, Eric Boom, we know what this guy can do with a sub or an AR in his hand. Immediately, it just had control of those sight lines on the grass side, and already you see the rotations coming in from number 5 and number 6, Yako. It's going to be huge gunfights coming in here from Keza, but unfortunately set up Sucre's Bakery do take 3 members down from Revenge Tour, and already looking like they're having some of that good control here. They are set up to just complete dominate.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad P1 at all. I mean, they get, 40 seconds off of it. They have a quick rotation over, and now we move to the columns on P2. So early on, not too bad, but we'll fly through the back with Super on his POV. He will get cut down, but you have 3 in the kill feed early on traded. Nicely done. Sucre's Bakery handling the business on the outskirts, but no one in the hill for the moment. Around 40 seconds to fight over. It's a 1-4 start for Chax. See what he can find as he tries to work his way in on the worm. He will not find it. Backs up for 1. Sucre good. AR in hand. So far, so good. All the kills in favor of Sucre's Bakery, and that lead is continued off of that streak.
Certainly has, and I mean, still, this is a good position if you look at it from Sucre's Bakery as well, because essentially they're already positions to rotate, and you see Eric Boom kind of just getting set up on that grass side, just holding his position to get set up, but not a bad start for Sucre's. This is going to be a really important gunfight for Keza as he's going to rotate through that rooftops. But again, it's just Super shutting him down. I mean, they're just doing such a good job at just slaying overall, controlling those positions, pushing out when they need to. They are doing everything correctly. So realistically, Revenge Tour, they just got to figure out how to just win their ones, utilize positions, and coming at it from an angle to where they're maybe split pushing it and collapsing onto the hill. So as we go here, you see Chaxter throwing that nade up. Can he do something? But Eric Boom, again, just putting himself in positions to shut him down.
Well, Sukri was the first one to rotate and the first one inside the point for Sukri's Bakery, and so far it worked out. They're probably going to be the first ones to cross 100 points early on. We're only in P3. We've already got 100 points on the board. On the other side for Revenge Tour, Mythics with a very, very slow start at 1-9. You have to highlight it. It is important. That lack of slaying has really come back to bite them, but there's plenty of hardpoints still to fight over. It just comes down to being able to wither away the kills. Now let's move to the church and the rotation. Big win from Keza. Who else is in position to help clean this one up? Well, he's playing a 1v2 out front. He'll catch Sukri. No, Sukri guns him on the rotation. There's 2 more that fall. It's 3 dead. Pinstripes in the kill feed, but all blue for the moment. It's a clean wipe in the point and a new time for Sukri's Bakery.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and realistically, Keza had that opportunity to maybe secure those spawns in, but really, Sukri's Bakery is just doing everything correctly to put themselves in trading positions and pick up those kills, and Super essentially was there, even though he had a teammate fall, they're just always there to secure the spawns, but Revenge Tour still showing some signs of life. They're gonna really have to figure out how to... Essentially, I mean, they kind of still have to keep fighting for the scrap time because they don't want this lead to carry over and just get stolen away from them. So, I don't know. Realistically, this next hill, P5, even though it is scrappy, they're just going to have to find ways to secure it and get control first. And you already see Revenge Tour is inside P5 in the house, up top, hopefully down low. Keza throwing nades just to keep them off, but they really got to learn how to hold here. And now it's just going to be hard because Keza's left alive, but Eric Boom, obviously, just slaying out, doing what he needs to on a 5 streak, by the way. I was going to say maybe could try to play for those streaks, but Super still and definitely might be able to get them.
I mean, Eric Boone was out on the rotation early. He left the last hill with about 30 seconds to go, and he made sure to get in a position where you have the close spawns potentially for a stagnated hit into the hill. But early on, again, the pressure there for Revenge Tour, something they haven't had much in these early rotations. Finally, they're in the point. More importantly, they get a bit of time, so they work their way back into this game, but they have to be able to hold. Here comes the potential break. It's 2 from the side, but they need more numbers of your Sukri's Bakery. It's Chax next to the door. He should have a free kill on Eric. He will shaky shots, but it does the damage yet again. 8 and 15 for him on a 3 spree. He just needs to play his life. Luckily, teammates are there to support if they need. One contest from the back. It's Super still fighting for 7 seconds, and they're playing for this scrap time, which, again, that just puts confidence in your ARs on rotation to win those fights, which means you have that much faith to win the opening hardpoint.
Yeah, and it just seems like, too, with Revenge Tour, they're just having such a hard time with those rotations, getting those kills in, because essentially right there, I believe it was Mythics that was by himself. So, but as I say that, you know, they clear off the point. Hello, Keza. Even though you got a team kill, you still secure the point. And, yeah, Chaxter here trying to push up that mid. It's collapsing onto the point. This is what's important, is kind of just pinching, catching the enemy off guard, and now Revenge Tour is kind of capitalizing on that, getting into those better positions and working on this rotation. 25 seconds left.
Yep.
They're gonna have to start rotating, and this is where they're gonna have to start moving as a unit. Jaxter on a 3 streak. Now he's gonna be thinking about those streaks, but Sukri knows that, of course, ultimately cutting them down. This is gonna be huge for Watson here on the rotation.
Yeah, and Watson's all the way out, but he gets caught, so you're going to be playing essentially a 2-on split if you try to get towards the point. Again, you're thinking about that rotation for Revenge Tour. They need a full 60 at this point, but credit where credit is due. They've done a great job of bringing themselves back into this game. Still a slow performance from Mythics and Watson. However, everyone else has picked up the slack, and when you've made it into the hard point, they've had some steady holds, luckily, with the Slayers on the outside. You look at the subs who have done the dirty work, Chax and Keza doing what they can, but as Yako on your screen is able to find the opening pick, he'll try to work through the back. Luckily, teammates in there for support. That's 3 dead again. Every single time a setup is there for Revenge Tour, it's so quickly broken. 4 dead, fall towards the point, make it 5. Keza will split up the feed, but damage is done. Into the point, Sukri's Bakery go, and they just need a couple more points to put this game away.
Absolutely, and at the time, Revenge Tour, they still need to push this point, as essentially, like you said, almost 20 points to getting to that 200 point mark. They don't want this to get stolen away from him, but Keza on the rotation here, he's going to have a very hard struggle that he has to secure this gunfight. One more player remaining left of Sucre's Bakery, and that is Sucre. He wins the gunfight. So again, you got to win those ones, but my goodness, Sucre's Bakery doing such a good job at doing just that. And look at Eric Boom. He can seriously, doesn't matter. AR sub, do whatever it takes. And Revenge Tour, my goodness, it's hard to shut this down when the momentum just seems to be creeping away from them. But don't count them out yet, because we know that Mythix, especially with this AR in his hand, he can turn it around, and it's just hard. He's gonna have to carry that momentum and wait for his teammates to get closer. You see Chaxter working up on that grass side. They're gonna have to flood in, and they have to do it now. 28 seconds left remain, but still, Super, my goodness. It's just, Sean, it's just obliteration from this guy right now. Take it down 3.
You're not going to break this hill if you can't kill Super.
You're not going to break it.
It's as simple as that. He's 23-9 with the AR in the back. Like, this is one of the harder hills on Tuscan to break if you can't clear the other AR. They haven't been able to do it in this entire hold, and they can't win it here. So we will see another rotation, but that's the takeaway. It's been nonstop 3 dead, 3 dead, 3 dead for Revenge Tour. How do you hit a hill when you only have one player up at a time to be able to get back into the swing of things? And, well, you can't even get Mixie at this point. You're going to need a full 60, and it's going to come down to Keza, who loses the opening. There's the break. 3 dead yet again. Finally, Revenge Tour get a foot inside the point. But do they have numbers? Well, Chaxter has 3, so that might help things, but now it comes down to individual gunfights. Luckily, Keza will win it. You get yourself some breathing room, but Ellen, you're going to have a ridiculous hold on every single point. And if you're Sucre's Bakery, you're more than happy to continue to contest and just wait for the next hill.
Yeah, and this is something that it's not like we haven't seen in Call of Duty history before, but again, yes, that is it. Sucre's Bakery, just so dominant, so strong. This is, I mean, the reason why Super essentially is, one of the best players in this region. I mean, just complete domination. And I mean, hey, Tuscan Hardpoint, higher seed, that's what you want, right? You want to take that map. This is the map that this is their playground. And I mean, it really did show.
Yeah, in the narrows of the hard points, the subs they ate up, but on those opposite sides where the ARs really needed to respond for Revenge Tour, they just simply didn't. Super was way too good. At one point, he was 23-9, and he was just uncontested, picking up 3 pieces. Again, so many opportunities for Revenge Tour, but constant 2-3 dead at a time. They were unable to be able to break that setup. And you look at Sucre's kind of performance as they've played this Revenge Tour squad in Season 1. We even look back to recent matches where they took them to Game 5. It was a 3-2 win. And then in the playoffs, Revenge Tour got the better of them, but the slaying is just absurd when you look at what Sucre Bakery can do and the efficiency in the hard point. They are rarely going to get broken.
My goodness, yes. And just the fact that they just have that ability to spawn, manipulate, and just basically know what they want to do with the enemy team. I mean, every single time on those rotations, holding down the lanes, Eric Boom was there. And then you had Yako, who just insanely would have 3 pieces, Super holding down like the spawns in those, lines of sight that you want to hold with the automaton. That back P3, that Fountain Hill, holding that is just so key. And my goodness, like just the subs being able to just keep applying that pressure day in and day out. I mean, my goodness, you just see it here. Like the damage, average damage per hill, like Yako doing everything around the point, 34-17. Just insane.
Yeah. It's nuts, and it's a team that you're going to have to be able to outslay against. If not, you're going to have to out-rotate them and hope that you can hold at least the first couple of maybe ticks. You're looking at around 15 to 20 seconds per hill if you can. Other than that, this is one of the questions for Revenge Tour coming into this season was you let go of Denza and you bring in Chaxter, which we can talk about the merits of that trade all day, and we will get into that at some point. But Denza was one of the better performing statistical players on that team, especially in Hardpoint KD, and you bring in Chaxter, who maybe isn't in that same discussion. And now you wonder, will the Slaying be able to match the competition they have this season? Well, so far, Watson had a very slow game. Mythix and Chaxter were able to kind of turn it around, but Chaxter had a great 3-piece on the final hill. It just wasn't enough. It was a little bit too late, and that's going to be a question mark going into this season.
Yeah, no, I agree. And in the beginning, when the show started, I was like so stuck on Denza for a second because, man, that guy is good. But yeah, Chaxter, I wanted to talk about. He literally, I feel like Search and Destroy, obviously they need to take this, but can't count this squad out yet because we've seen the momentum shift that Chaxter has brought to the table. He has insane Search and Destroy clutches that I mean, out of this world. We saw it, I believe, last season. Just it was on Tuscan, this very map for his squad 5-5, and I believe that was that TM? No, he was on TMT. I believe it was the originals. He literally clutched it for his squad 5-5 1v4. He aced it. So this is where they have to take this map. Not saying that, you know, they're under scrutiny. Sucre's Bakery, not saying that they can't take it, but this is a must win for Revenge Tour. And if anybody's going to shift that momentum, it is Chaxter. They brought him on the squad for a reason. Now they got to show up and show us why he is the man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wanted to say something else, but like, I know they can do this. It's a tough battle because obviously Suki's Bakery, one of the best teams, if not the best. Got to turn up.
Absolutely. And you look at the S&D layout really for Revenge Tour. Tuscan being one of their stronger maps. Again, Bocage as well. On the other side for Sucre's Bakery, you got Bocage and Berlin, usually maps where they've succeeded more often than not. But going into game 2, this is absolutely one that you can win. But I still look at kind of the overall S&D KDs, and while it may not tell the whole story, it does tell me the efficiency, and it does tell me how players are going to usually participate in the action. And Super, a 1.75 in Season 1. In S&D, he's almost guaranteed 2 kills. Like, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but in S&D, with this level of competition, with how consistently he's been playing, yeah, a 1.75, I'll take that all day, every day. So when it comes to those parallel ARs, you're going to have to be able to answer against someone like Super if he's going to be sitting near the back of the map, regardless of what it might be. If he's staying mobile, you have to be able to respond, and that's where I'm looking at someone like Watson. Like, I'm looking on the other side for Revenge Tour, and I'm saying there needs to be some response because you can't go into the S&D and get outslayed by an AR.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's just like, where are you gonna apply the pressure at? Which bomb sites are you guys gonna push? Like, how are you gonna utilize that? Because you're right, Super, he's scary. I mean, he's, like I said, every single game mode, like top 5. Like, this guy is just next level when it comes to just adapting and just doing everything that he needs to do. So yeah, gonna be a tough nut to crack. Not impossible, but as we jump into this, Sean, yeah, I'm really gonna really see how, and I'm curious because from stage 1 to stage 2, you know, we eventually start to see strategies change. People start to get their footing in what they want to do. Obviously we just had the major this past weekend, so any new strats going into this, curious to see just a little bit of a change up, you know.
Sure.
People start to learn the game, and it's not so like, all right, in the beginning, who grinded the hardest, the fastest, the quickest, you know what I mean? Now it's like, all right, we got some time in, we got some VOD reviews, and man, what are we going to change up? So hopping on board here with this Tuscan S&D, we already see for the push, Revenge Tour, making an A play. Chaxter already with that bomb in hand. Let's see what Keza can do.
He might be lucky for a first blood if he's good for it. Here comes Eric Boom, first victim, following for the second, maybe third. Super will clean up the kill. You get a couple of trades early on, but nicely done. As Sucre's Baker will lose 2 on the engagement, it's a 3v2 advantage for Revenge Tour. They will get bombed down, and now the post-plant positioning will have to be crucial for this first round. But for Sucre and Super, plenty of time to work with. They do find 1, and you try to even things up at a 2v2.
Right, they're gonna have to isolate this player. Mythic's in the back, but he is able to get that kill now. This is gonna be huge for Super. If he can isolate at least maybe 1 kill, he knows where 1 player is, but no. Revenge Tour do, in fact, unfortunately know where Super is, so they isolated him instead. Tricky situation, but it's tough. When you're in that situation, when you're the last one alive in a 1v2, it's like you really got to focus on at least isolating 1 player. Essentially, Super knew where Mythic was in the back, but he had a feeling, essentially had to instantly turn around because he was going to get pinched. And unfortunately, not able to take that kill, is right there and waiting for the trade. But what a play from Keza for Revenge Tour at that B site. Very huge. I liked the setup from them, but on the counter offensive side, let's see immediately from the attack, Super trying to get in from bottom church here. He's going to throw that nade for information, but Chaxter with the aggressive push down the middle, and Watson for the trade now leaves Revenge Tour and Sucre's Bakery in a 4 versus 2.
Looking to regroup if you can. Eric Boom will find 1. Right on the outskirts, but behind, it's 3. It's Chaxter, who's good. He gets into the A site, and you're playing a 3-on-1 at this point. I think they have an inkling where he might be. They do. No matter what the wall bang, Watson will get it done. They will get the defuse, and they'll get their second round here. Revenge Tour doing a very nice job The team shots are good. And this is where this team can really bounce back. Tuscan being one of their better S&D maps. If they want to be able to tie up this series and continue to push Sucre's Baker the distance, it's rounds like that you have to close out, and they do it for round 2.
Yeah, it was a good, clean round. Just being, of course, in those trading positions. Watson with that automaton in his hand. And Jackster right now, by the way, is on a 3 streak. So he's definitely going to be looking to play streaks, as you know. Glide Bomb, especially on this map, is just so crucial. I know with the GAs and stuff, at least the EU region does use the strafing run, but either which way, already aggressive push here. And we expected this from Revenge Tour, kind of the last time, except for this time around, Keza pushed into close to that bottom church, but Jackster does fall. Great stop in by Sucre's Bakery. And now the problem here is for Revenge Tour is the bomb is down on A, and you got Air Boom waiting on it, and Keza looking to make a play. He's going to have to push through this middle side, and it's going to be hard, but still in a 2 versus 2. That bomb down, knowing that it's there. Keza with that sniper in hand, going to see if he can make a quick pick. He's going to have to try to do so, but Sucre's Bakery really just have to kind of just play time. They know the bomb is down, essentially. And Eric Boom with that MP40 long range, still locking it in, and they're just going to play around A. Watson left in 1 versus 2. See what he can do, but no. Sucre's Bakery with the lockdown, that grass side. Kind of just stole it away. Pretty fast round, but they knew what to do, essentially. If you got the bomb down, you don't really need to do anything else. Just lock down the grass side, right? Like, just isolate the map. And very well played.
No, it's got to be tough when bomb's down and you have no way to get to it unless you kind of overextend through the back. And you have to hope that you win the battle with the sniper. If you do, you basically play kills at that point. But that retake was going to be pretty close to impossible unless they get a lucky break. Sucre's Bakery not going to give up that line of sight anytime soon. We'll see what happens early on. In round number 4 we go. It's going to be a quick plant over to A. Do they read this for Revenge Tour? They might just go up to church to the window. Can they spot the plant? No, they will not. First blood again to Sucre's Bakery.
That's right. Bomb is down, so really all as it is just you already have advantage. First bloods are huge. Super gets a nade onto Watson. Now, Jackster, let's see. We've seen him clutch before in these crazy situations. Let's see if he can do it again. It seems like the wraparound is going to happen, but Eric Boom already reading this, essentially. Shots in. Keza, though, able to get away, and Jackster, of course, again, gets the trade out from his teammate. Now it's Yako left in a 1 versus 2. 15 seconds left.
Well, he's got to push. They're defusing. He's on the bomb. He's got to go. It's a 1v2. He gets it off bomb, and he's got it into a 1v1. He's able to find him. He splits. 7 seconds. I don't think he got it in time. Revenge Tour went for the kill instead, and they had no choice, but nicely played. Yako does all he needs to. Kills player on bomb, backs up, and just buys a second, an extra single tick. And Sucre's Bakery will get their second round in a row. It opened up with a 4v2, and nicely done by Super on the nade. But after that, quickly collapsed. Thankfully, Yako was there.
Yeah, no, indefinitely. And wow, I mean, my goodness, Revenge Tour still almost had that. I mean, I'm telling you, Jackster in those situations brings that energy to the table. And I feel like it always seems to happen around that P5 area, I swear. But here we go again. Fast push towards that A side. And immediately Jackster's going to go for the bomb plant. So Keza, again, is huge over here. But he has 3 members of Sucre's Bakery on the attack.
They're all here. There's 2. One more on the outside. Super, again, is going to cut it down before things start to get going. But yet again, 2 players fall quickly early on, untraded, and finally it's a 3v2. Revenge Tour with the man advantage and the map positioning as well. All they have to worry about is playing time. On the hunt, Super gets absolutely cut, and you left up to Sucre and a potential 1v3. What does he decide to do with it? Well, maybe put some shots out, but at this point, I think it's all but done. You just try to fall back and don't feed kills.
Yeah, at this point, don't feed and jump off the map. I was going to say jump out into the water. There's no water on this map, but the grass will do. Although,
the terrifying abyss that is below.
You know, if we actually did that, though, I mean, would that happen? Just to jump over the fence, break a leg? But either which way.
COD characters either have like the strongest legs or the weakest legs. You never know.
You just never know. You never know what to expect. You just something. I don't know. This game is full of surprises all the time. But here, on the attacking side, it just really seems, again, A is favored. No B strategies, which surprises me. But Watson, of course, with that sniper in hand, does get naded out. Beautifully played with the utilities from Sucre's Bakery. And Sometimes that's a tongue twister, but still, they're going to wait for the bomb plants because they are essentially, Sean, waiting for utilities. And we see that Revenge Tour did use a couple, but still, very smart plays. Make them think that you're planning and wait. And still, just like that could, though, punish you. The bomb is going down now, but still now, they did lose 2 members. Maybe waiting too long punished them, but still in a 2 versus 2, bomb down. Let's see what Keza can do.
Oh, he got spotted. Keza has to be careful now. Who's in a position to potentially help? It's Shax on the other side, and he picks up Yako, so that's that entry sub now gone. Sukri can play this one very slowly. Oh, how sneaky of you, Sukri. If he gets behind with a weapon to work with, all he has to do is play one. He's going to get it. Now in a 1v1. Checks bomb, checks incorrectly. Chaxter went on the long route. Made sure to get some eyes over towards the site and plays it correctly with enough time. Chax at 8-2 on a 3 spree. And even though this is one of their better maps on Tuscan for S&D, Chaxter has been playing much better as of late, especially in S&D, really clutching up when they need it most.
Yeah, indeed. And I just wonder, like, Sukri had such a beautiful play right there. I just wonder, I mean, I understand, like, speedily, quickly checking, just, you know, being nervous, essentially, that somebody's on the bomb. But in the manner that he did it, like, I just feel like really, if you're a a little bit more disciplined in that situation, you know what I mean? Just kind of just checking a little bit slower, being in that situation. Okay, if he's not there, like, we already know top fire is just one of those power positions that somebody's going to be there. Just a little bit more patience, but either which way, good round and stop from Revenge Tour for sure. Chaxter heating up. I mean, this is his map. This is his playground. And already with the first blood, Keza, huge for them. Watson gonna come in contact with Yako there, but bomb's going down, Sean. This might be easy pickings here again for Revenge Tour.
Yeah, it's been like 80% of the first bloods have been over towards B, but yet again, the pressure mounts on A. 4v1, now 3v1. Super trying all he can to make this one realistic, but Revenge Tour just perfect on the post-plant positioning, and more importantly, they always have someone in position to potentially trade as soon as shots ring out. No matter where Super was going, Mythics is already there, flying through fire. Nice cleanup. It's been clinical in this S&D so far. Yeah, it's we're not done yet. It's only 5 rounds, but listen, 5-2, Revenge Tour doing very well thanks to Keza and Chax, the way they've been able to really open up with, what, first blood and a follow-up without getting traded quickly. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, this is very clinical, very, very indeed. And you're right, not down, but not out. Super, he would be the one to turn it around for the squad, but you already see that bomb site on that grass side. Watson is going to just try to value his life, but 3 members of Revenge Tour here pushing through this P5. Eric Boom is going to have his work cut out for him and able to take down, I was going to say, hopefully, maybe, too. He does take down one at least, and instantly, like you said, Sean, the trades are there for the team, and now the bomb goes down, but instantly you see they're collapsing onto this site.
Yep, Chaxter was in a prime position to make things interesting, but he plays Spoiler through the back for 1. Here comes Mythics. This should be a free kill for him. He will onto Super. That's another wipe.
Yeah.
That's down. That's it. That's going to be your game 2. Revenge Tour very, very quickly living up to their name as they take out this Tuscan S&D. Pretty clinical. Outside of those couple of rounds where really Sukri's Baker were able to get lucky with some of their trades, Revenge Tour handled their business, and they handled it quickly in that game.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it. A worked every single time, and that just seemed to be the play. Like you said, Keza and Chaxter being in those positions to trade with each other and always set up. I mean, even when they were one of those rounds that they lost, they still almost clutched. Tuscan's their playground. They know exactly how to play it and what to do. And yeah, walking away with this now. We got a game. We got a game, Spaceman.
Shout out to Jackster, 10-3 in this Tuscan S&D. I mean,
yeah,
that's in terms of season 2, bringing in a new player and having high expectations. If this is a type of matchup that could be going 5, that's the performance you wanted most out of Jackster. But really, Ellen, in this game, it was all about the trades, consistently winning the first blood battle and finding extra kills to go with it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, look at Keza, too. Even while his team is over at the A site, he was up top P5 just waiting for those rotations to come through from Sukri's Bakery, just watching the pinch, and he got kills every single time. So just the fact that the way that they position themselves around the map, and of course, again, everybody slaying. I mean, even Mythics doing exactly what he needed to do. He was always, like you said, in those positions to trade. Like, it just worked out so beautiful, so well for them that Sukri's Bakery really wasn't able to counter that. But I was expecting maybe to see a little bit of a switch up. It just seemed really, even from Sukri's Bakery, that just kind of the same thing. And they didn't really adapt to what Revenge Tour was doing. They didn't really necessarily switch it up. I was like, hoping to see it, but maybe, I don't know. Revenge Tour, of course, able to shut that down because they can pick up on what they're doing, of course. Like, you read your opponents, you know what they're doing, you know how to shut it down. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, now we got to do that into the respawns.
Yeah,
being able to do that into respawns. Yep.
Absolutely. And they'll play to be for essentially first bloods, but after that information, really no interest in moving bomb outside of its A route. Other than that, though, it's clinical in that game too. And now moving to control, again, we go to a situation where for Sukri's Bakery, they're one of the better control teams when it comes to Tuscan, that map mode combo. But on the other side, if Chapster's playing that well, again, it needs to be a full team effort in this series because they showed that they could take it to them in a 3-1 playoff win in season 1. But at this specific matchup, Ellen, what is it that you're seeing out of Revenge Tour that they need to turn around as we take a look at some of the season 1 matchups and standings, more importantly, statistics from when these teams played each other?
I mean, like, realistically, Revenge Tour, okay, they don't have Dunza anymore. They have Chaxter, so we know that we lost that. But Chaxter, obviously no. Tuscan, super good at it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to take down Sukri's Bakery because, again, you got Super, who like is just 1.39 KD, 78.7 non-traded kills. And I mean, like, it's just going to be really hard. You got to take him down. So if you can find a way to position around the map to counter, to make it a lot easier for you. But still, just from the statistics, I mean... Ooh, this is just, I just really think this Shauna is just going to be hard for them. It's going to be hard, but not impossible. Not impossible. It's just, they're too, so, Sukri's Bakery is just so strong. It's just so strong of a team. And like, I'm just like...
Yeah, nearly 80% untraded kills for Super. And you're talking about control where you're not feeding kills to the other side. You're not losing that resource. But that's also worth noting that if Revenge Tour can steal a respawn in this series, you get it to a game 5, this is an entirely different conversation. And that's how a lot of last season went. However, again, once more, your series layout, it was a game 1 win for Sukri's Bakery. Pretty clinical from the start of the hard point and near the end. They handled their business well. Then we moved to the S&D where Revenge Tour were lights out constantly, a 6-2 win. And we find ourselves on Tuscan for the final side of this 3-man split for Tuscan. We will be going to a control where I think, again, in the respawn department, this is Sukri's Bakery's chance to put the series at 2-1.
No, for sure. And that's just it. They have to take the control. Like, this is kind of like that swing map, right? Like, they have to take this. You get it to the search and destroy. But the thing is that hard point. I'm worried about that hard point because... I mean, if you want to look at the track that we have, even from map 1, they were having a hard time really getting into countering Sukri Bakery's like trading positions, getting into setting themselves up to essentially secure spawns, not really like winning their ones. Search and destroy, obviously different game mode, a lot of smarts that come into it, but with the respawn, like they're really gonna have to obviously take this control. But that hard point is where I'm like, okay, it's bow cage. Things do get a little bit mixy, but can you take down the slaying power of essentially Sukri and Super and shut down that AR of Eric Boom? Like, can you do that? Figure out ways to counter that, and hopefully that momentum from the search and destroy carries on to this map 3, but it's gonna be doozy.
It's going to be tough. Eric Boom has aged like a fine wine in the past, like, 3 seasons. The dude's playing really well. But also, just, again, we want to hit on the point of, for Sukri's Bakery, if they do get it to a Game 4 Bocage Hardpoint, again, one of their better map mode combos. So if you're talking about stealing a respawn, Ellen, in all honesty, for Revenge Tour, it has to be on this Tuscan control. What is the key to victory for Revenge Tour outside of the AR presence? What do they need to do to get this one done and send it to a potential Game 5?
Shut down the ARs. Value your lives, because you can't just keep single pushing, win your ones. But we know that control is a game mode that now they switched it up with the kills. The ticks of progression in that swing round now do count for those attacking rounds. So they're really going to have to figure out the way to take those attacking rounds. It's a little bit harder to do. We know for Tuscan control, you really want to capture that A site first. And allow that time to get that you need, the extra time to get to control that B site. So really just gonna have to value their time, value their lives, and figure out a way to take down Eric Boom and Super. Because my goodness, the whole team itself is just amazing. They move as a unit. You got to shut them down as a unit.
Yeah, and when it comes to Berlin and Tuscan, kind of looking at some of the stats from Season 1 as we were going through it for the majority of the past couple of weeks, I mean, you look at specifically the matchup where you take out Denza, Chax are now in, plays so far great in S&D, but when it does come to maps like Berlin and Tuscan, and specifically we will hit on the point of Tuscan because that's the next control map, those are some of Chaxter's underperforming maps, specifically his lowest kill games. So when it comes to that control, he has to not only turn it around on this map mode combo, but for the team as a whole for Revenge Tour, Tuscan Control is also not one of their strongest combos. So you're going to need all of your players to continue to play above average in the kill department if they want to take it to someone like Sukri, Yako, and Super. Like, it's going to require that kind of effort. They're absolutely capable of doing it, no question at all. But it's going to be a tough series nonetheless. And when we inevitably do get into Tuscan Control, at that point, we'll find out what the answer really will be. But Ellen, for Sukri's Bakery, pretty clinical in the Hardpoint, a little slip up in the S&D, but they didn't really change anything. They were very keen on playing through First Blood at B. Then they decided, you know what, we can't win this advantage, so we're going to try to play wall-to-wall gunfights. It didn't work for them. Going into the Control, they got to shake it off and just continue to play their game like they've done in the Respawn.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, you know, especially after this weekend, Sean, it's one thing that I learned. The stats are one thing. Everything on paper is great. But sometimes you got to chuck that out the window because you never know what could happen.
You never know.
There's been a lot of upsets this year. That's what I think that just makes Call of Duty Vanguard so dang great, is the fact that you never know what could happen. These teams can turn up. These strategies just might come out of nowhere. But, yeah, coming into this Revenge Tour, like you said, was that the right decision to pick up Chaxter? Because in these game modes, this is where they're going to have to turn up. But sometimes it's not always about statistics. Sometimes it's just simply for that pure chemistry, baby. And if that connection, if this Revenge Tour squad has that and it comes together, they can shut down Sukri's Bakery. And I'm not saying it's easy, because obviously this is a team that's been established for quite some time. You know, they've had time to get some reps in. But I don't know. As we go into this, I think that they might have the recipe to do it. I think that they have the potential. I mean, they're both coming into this even from last season. We're 5-2, 5-2, and just with all of these teams, just so evenly matched. So you really don't ever know what happens coming into this. But it's in terms of that momentum factor, yes. Right now, the favorite is of Revenge Tour, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just excited to get into it already. It's going to be interesting.
We had a player quickly fix some of their stuff, quickly reset, so we'll be into the map in a moment. But looking at Sukri's Bakery, again, we're going to hit on the point of this is a team with high expectations going into Season 2, right? They finished second overall in the regular season in Season 1, a very, very good season at that, but they came in fourth in the playoffs, and that was a bit of a disappointment. So they're looking to turn things around. They did not make a roster change in the window. They decided to stick it with this group of 4. I love the decision. I love, especially last year, that Europe was so keen on sticking with the same group of guys, but now for this season, with how crazy and random sometimes Vanguard can be, this is very much a specific season in Challengers Elite where Sukri's Bakery are looking to not only outperform themselves in the playoffs, but they're gunning for that #1 spot. And had a couple of Game 5s last season gone their way, they're likely sitting at first in the group overall. So this is a very, very high-performing team. They have to show they have that consistency in all 3 modes, and this is where you get it done. If you can close it on the respawns, great. If you can't, you have to clutch up in Game 5. For Revenge Tour, they're just trying to push this one the distance.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And I love that too, because me personally, I've always been heavy in the NA scene. You know, I didn't follow as closely into the EU scene really until last year. And I mean, of course, like any teams, of course, that played on the NA side, but still, these teams are amazing. They're electric. They're so fun to watch. And already we talked about that A hit, Sean. You see Revenge Tour on the attacking side already set up. And must say, they got that tick of progression and still going. See what they can do here. And if you look at it, Chaxter, number 3, he's going to cause some havoc for this squad. He's already kind of set up in the back, getting a little mixy, of course. Going to make a huge play.
Enjoy the stuns. Enjoy the nades. Enjoy all of the mixiness you're going to find on that first point. It's already done. We've wiped it off the board. A is locked up, another minute on the clock, and everybody dropping Revenge Tour very quickly responding after they lose the opening defense. But other than that, we continue to move our way through, as it seems that, well, early on, they're doing what they need to do. Getting kills on the board, keeping it on the outside of the point. And here comes another fly through as Super will win his engagement. Shaxter all the way coming down the balcony. Can't clean up Super. And there is another trade yet again. 4-1 for Super on a 3 spree. But for the attacking side, it's Watson and Mythics who have really stepped up early on. They've been able to find a couple of key kills and to help them lock up A.
Oh my goodness. And yes, what a stop too from Sucre's Bakery. They stopped the bleeding. Huge plays, of course, from Eric Yako, pushing out that patio side. We know how important it is, but you see Chaxter, Mythics, just waiting on that patio, waiting for his teammates so they can collapse onto it. As you see, two members of Suki's Bakery working together so well, but Keza with the trades, my goodness. That patio side, it's so key, so important for this point. Is my goodness, 3 for Keza. That is insane. Eric Boom is going to look to stop this, but yeah, this is so important to push out that backside, and Revenge Tour doing a great job of causing havoc, Mythics in the back. And this is where it gets mixy, because you want to push this backside, essentially maybe force that grass spawn. As you see number 5, Sucre spawn up there, and Mythics, he's going to look to hold this point, but he does get stunned in the process. So Keza's going to try to pick that up, and that's really the focus here, is pick up grass side, get into the back church area, and force the spawn out so you can get the control. 12 lives remain for Revenge Tour as they hold the advantage, Sean.
No, they have plenty of time, and it was really that line from Yako and Super who were trying to play through the initial hardpoint side. But at this point, you're basically looking for pressure on the catwalk and through the back of the tank. Sucre can't find anything, but Watson for 2 is good enough. 9-7, plenty of time, but you get essentially 2 more pushes, and there's another big kill from Yako. It will slow the push on the offense, and for Sucre's Bakery, they've done a nice job of just holding the front here. They haven't allowed anybody inside. Barely 50% on that first tick is now getting decapped. You're looking at essentially 1 more push, and working through the back, it's Keza. He needs to come up big. He will for at least 1 if he gets in position in time, but tries to wait for teammates, and instead it's getting pushed from behind. He's got 2 he has to worry about. 1 in front, 7 and 5, he will go down. That's the hold for Sucre's Bakery, and that's round 1 to them on the defensive end. That looked like Revenge Tour were going to have it in the bag, but they just could not find their way to B.
Yeah, Revenge Tour, ultimately, they did play it so well off the break, just quickly capturing A, quickly securing that extra time. But the problem is the Sucre's Bakery obviously countering that, pushing out patio. Eric Boom and Yako doing a good job. I mean, obviously Yako, not the best stat line, but still, couple of key kills that were so important on that push that Revenge Tour had since the beginning on one of those first opening breaks. So the fact that they did so well at pushing out that patio side and getting those trades, just essentially waiting for each other, that is the type of stuff that you expect to see from Suki's Bakery. And now holding on to that, they now have to attack leading into this kind of interesting play here, but regardless, still locking it down. We expected to see Super 10 and 4, by the way, doing a fantastic job.
Revenge Tour were thinking about maybe that contest over to A and taking the long round, but instead they were met with a hail of gunfire, and from here, well, they're going to have to try things yet again. All even in the kill count. Plenty of opportunities now to make our way to B, and we will do so. Watson with a big 2-piece. He'll find himself a nice couple, and he'll move into the point, trying to defend as quickly as possible. Eric Boom, quick to meet his demise as well. Watson going absolutely massive, and, well, you're going to need sprees like that to be able to cut down a couple of Mythics with a couple of body shots, and the spawns are in the back for Revenge Tour, so you might be thinking about 1 or 2 extra contests over to A. After that, you're stacking your defensive hold, and you're putting your resources at B. What can they find, though? Bit of chaos on the A point. So far, so good. Eric Boom uncontested. Can't win against Watson, but maybe he has teammates in support to help them clean up this point.
Yeah, and I wonder if that was a smart play, but oh my goodness, Chaxter. Whoa, for the 3rd. I was going to say, whoa. My goodness, calm down there, buddy. But my goodness, from Suki's Bakery, I'm just wondering if this was the play to not push for A right away, but now 28 seconds left remain. They didn't get that tick. They still have 1 more tick left at A to secure, but the kills do come in. They're going to have to focus on this site. As they did stop the clock, they managed to secure that point. Thank goodness. Now they have at least a little bit of time, 1:20 left to secure B, and the push from back church is going to come through. That, of course, it's a little bit easier. You have to position yourself a little bit differently at B, flood it from the back, but Revenge Tour able to essentially pick up on that from the push from that grass side, able to hold it down, and you see Watson pushing out patio. Very smart to trap them in that back fountain area, but as a unit, Sucre's Bakery, 57 seconds left to push through this patio side, and they're going to do just that now on the attacking.
Well,
through this
Yako,
B5.
before he went down in church, he actually hesitated on his rush and he called an audible to try to move through the church, so it bought his teammates time to stack up together to come off spawn and try to hit a flank all the way through to B. And it almost worked out, but luckily it was the read there from Revenge Tour. They understood they didn't have numbers, so they had to triple commit over towards the site. And now you just buy your time and play the kills. 14-8. Again, they've done a nice job of reading through the kills early on. It's Jackster again, 11 and 13. Watson's had a very good round number 2 at 15 and 12 on your scoreboard, and that's 3 more dead. It looks like that will be the final resource that they have. And with 20 seconds to go, you get a push, but you're playing a ratio of essentially 2 to 1. It's going to be very difficult, still possible, but how do you break in with this spread? These AR sit in the back. Revenge Tour not letting anybody get through.
No, indeed they're not. And still able to stop the clock, though. It's really about just valuing these kills. It's just going to be hard. You got 2 kills, 8 to 2, but still 2 versus 2 here in this situation. There's still, nope, Jackster just cutting it down. I was like, you got 2 lives. It's kind of hard to do, but Revenge Tour in a very comfortable fashion take that. And realistically, I just wonder, Suku's Bakery, if that, right off the break, they didn't seem to really value A and get that really quick fast cap. So it kind of just put that extra pressure on them to quickly cap B. Just because it took so much time to essentially for them to capture anything, but still kind of that fast play again. You see Revenge Tour set up in the mid sight lines, and Yako, he would be the person essentially that could break this up, but he does get taken out as well. And very, very good start hold here from Revenge Tour, but Eric Boom, not if he has anything to say about it, taken down 2, and he's going to look to break this through the middle, and hopefully his teammates can get down in the pinch, but Mythics, of course, there to stop it. Pretty convincing setup and cap here from Revenge Tour, as quite convincingly take A. And I mean, it does help when you got Watson, of course, ARing it, and Mythics, of course, holding it down, winning their ones and slaying it out. Quick cap, and now all they have to really do is utilize the B. And Watson, of course, in that back church area, causing havoc, is going to make it much easier for them to do so.
It was wall-to-wall gunfights at A. And quickly onto the point they go. Right over to B. Jackster wins a big one down the stairs, but has one more to worry about. Make it 2. Has to work his way through the stun, but numbers continue to funnel on in. Revenge Tour don't have enough to hit as a 4-man unit. However, they can pick them apart from the outskirts, and now you're going on the hunt if you are Keza. Through church, we might go. Here we are. Tiptoeing away around Sukri, but you do have to worry about the pinch. Nicely done. The collapses there. Sukri's Bakery handling the pressure and keeping numbers on the outside. Nobody working towards streaks, but here comes Watson around the outskirts. Can he find the follow-up kill? Well, I don't think he realizes the squad spawns are there, so if he gets perfect timing, you're talking about 3 potential kills to put on the board. Jackster coming off spawn, but the defensive hole right now for Sukri's Bakery is doing its job. Might not be perfect, but hey, no one's touched the point with 1:23 to go. Super for good, and he's good for 1. 5 streak, trying to make it 6, working towards some score streaks, but we'll have to fall off the play for now.
Oh my goodness, and Sukri's Bakery doing such a good job at just holding down radio, holding down this patio side and maps, and it's just like, it's such a good hold from them, because you see Revenge Tour trying to work their way through the middle and trying to get into church, but when you got Sukri's Bakery just pushed up and Sukri getting a triple like that, my goodness. I mean, like, they're just putting themselves in advantageous positions. I mean, Yako, look at him, just flaking around from the back, and although, does get taken out there, still, it's just constant pressure, and although they are trapped up in the back now, this is the pressure that Revenge Tour is going to need moving forward. They gotta win every single gunfight here. There's only 40 seconds left, and they are in jeopardy, essentially. I was going to say, as I say that, Sukri's Bakery just completely clears them all out.
Well, both teams on defense doing everything right. The offenses have struggled. They have not been able to find their way to both ticks. Around 20-ish seconds to go. At this point, you're pretty much hoping for a prayer. 10-4 in the life count yet again. And that team kill will not help things. I think he just fell off the map. We'll count that as a Clayster. 10 seconds. That's going to be another round win. The defense holding up yet again. A 2-1 lead in the control. Sukri's Bakery not playing around. Look at the spread on the minimap. It's all clinical. It's all good. And that's 2 rounds.
Yeah, really, really good job and well executed from Sukri's Bakery. I mean, every stop, every situation that Revenge Tour had to push the point, you saw Watson just getting in those positions back church, to slay out and essentially force the spawn, manipulate the spawn to where they're spawning that grass side. But Sucre's Bakery, just everybody winning their ones, and again, just being set up in positions. And I mean, it was so hard to counter. I mean, essentially, even though Watson's popping off, they just got to figure out a way to get into better trading positions and attack these sites. But this time around, you see Sucre's Bakery just quickly attacking A this time. And the members of Revenge Tour working on for a pinch. So this could be actually very deadly if Revenge Tour learned how to set up and Watson already clearing out the point. It's going to get in, but got to win those ones.
That's a big clear. Even with the nades, it doesn't matter. It's a huge clear through the back. You do have streaks to work with if you're super. So if you're lucky enough to continue to put progress on A, and then you move to B, you talk about using maybe that Glide Bomb to get yourself into a better position to hold up on offense and potentially put this game away. But constantly at mid-map, the battle's been won by Revenge Tour. Working through the outskirts is going to have to be the game plan for Sucre's Bakery. They're just losing too many at a time. They're losing 3-4 kills in a row. They just can't find ways to get into the point. They're not even done with A. About a minute to go. They have to continue to put progress over. It's pressure through the charge, but Keza already sniffing out the flank. Does he read it in time? I don't think so. Mythics for 2, maybe 3 through the back. Sucre will stay alive thanks to his teammate, but Super's now in. Another minute on the clock. That's a huge clear off the point, but they don't have the lives to walk away with it. Ellen, we're going to be thinking about those streaks.
Oh my goodness, yes. And that was such a huge play from Sucre and Super in that back church area, just picking up each other's trades and valuing your life. Like, you think that he has it, and then boom, right there. He dies, and his teammates right there for the trade, but still, the flood does come on through it. Again, it's Super taking down Keza and Watson, trying to stop the push, but regardless, be that as it may, I mean, this patio side, we know how deadly it is. We know how important it is to hold. And Revenge Tour have to get set up. Yep. They have to wait for the push, but they have to get set up in a way to where they can push Sucre's Bakery back. But knowing that they're getting cut down, Yago, look at this. Might be able to flank around into maps, and he does. Taking him out and radio pushing through, but Watson to set up. I mean, like I said, patio is such a important position to hold for this point. You hold patio, your chances of holding B and securing it are going to be a success. So Watson, he's not going to give that up, and Mythics is going to be their first trade. So how are they going to stop this? That's just it.
Yeah, I mean, we get into the discussion of would they use streaks? Well, if they were able to get it from what was like 20 to 14, they were able to get that life count down, maybe around 15, maybe around 14. Then you think about investing. But at this point, you've won defense every time. Both teams have. You just play for round 5 because it could potentially lead to a chance for you to continue to use those streaks. And we'll just wipe ourselves off the map, try to get this one over as quickly as possible. And we'll wait to see what we find in round 5. But yet again, you look at Super having both tiers, and that will come into effect this round.
Yeah, exactly. That's important, and that's exactly what they all just did. I mean, kind of just happened so fast. You just see all of those deaths come in. But yeah, honestly, play for that final round, and that's what we have it. Revenge Tour has the, I would say, maybe the slight advantage here as they are defending, but Sucre's Bakery in terms of this is...
Bait the Glide Bomb
kind
early.
of struggled, yeah.
If you're Revenge Tour, bait the streaks early if you can, especially over to A. Force them to make that investment. Again, 2 kills for Watson. He is stepped up in the last half of this series. This control has basically been his. If there's an MVP for a game in mode, he's been doing it. But 3 kills on the response. Could it be 4? Watson was spotted for far too long. There's a wipe, and that should be A, at least locked up. And now, I think Revenge Tour are making the right call. They're saying we can contest on the outsides if we need to. We can try to watch that rotation through the back and make sure we hold spawns. But we're more than happy to give up another minute because we know they have streaks, and we know we need to get into position to at least contest. Eric Boom has to continue to hold his line and open things up.
Yeah, he certainly has, and that's A point secured now. Plenty of time to work with. 2 minutes and 15 seconds in. What a defensive play there from Mythics. Securing that backside, that back church area. Sometimes, you know, you might even see a player just holding that tank heady, but see the members of Revenge Tour just setting up in a defensive position around that church area. Chaxter making sure that this is cleared out top church, and there's the streak that does come in. Sucre able to take down a nade, and the glide bomb does connect. So this is the opportunity that Sucre's Bakery needs to flood on through. Jakob taking down one member makes it easy, and now Revenge Tour backs against their wall as the point is, but still slowly come on through that takes a progression, it's really going to be Sucre's Bakery just laying out right here.
They had 3 dead. They were looking for Yako. They were unsure of where he was, but it was Keza who got cut down. And Yako was able to clean up the kill. And it's just been clinical on the outside. I mean, they have not let anybody from Revenge Tour touch the point. B should be locked up. I mean, this is round 5, game 3, all done. But Chaxter in for 1. Can he get the second? No, that's going to be it. It was 4 dead consistently. And Yako finding Keza, making sure they get the call out saying, we still have 1 player up. Revenge Tour almost wiped. We have to push them back in their spawn. They were able to find it. They get on the point. They quickly cap. They still had a streak if they needed it. That was so well done on the offensive side, and the first offensive win in that control comes in round 5.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, looking at the stats, of course, it helps. 35 and 19 from Super there. I mean, every single time Sucre's Bakery just being in those positions to cut off the spawn routes, push up and be aggressive when needed, and just, man, the trades. Can we talk about that? Like, I mean, even in the hard point, we just saw it consistently. Like, they move as a unit. So, yeah, realistically, just waiting, being patient, using that glide bomb at the end, really, really beneficial. And you always notice those members just getting up to that tank spot or just, again, manipulating the spawn in a way to where, hey, we know what we're doing. We're trapping this team on the grass side. And, like, they always just constantly just flooding in as a unit. And it paid off.
Yeah, and if you're going to use the glide bomb that early, you're going to have to commit to the push, and that's exactly what they did, and they were able to hunt the remaining players of Revenge Tour and really clean up the scraps, and it was so nicely done throughout. You talked about it, Ellen. The team shots were there. The trades consistently 3-4 dead in that final round, but even with the loss from Revenge Tour, Watson was insane in this game. He constantly put Revenge Tour in position to be able to break and or contest the point. They just were unable to put it all together in the final round, and yes, you're worrying about streaks, but Sucre's Bakery essentially just held off the pressure and did what they had to do in the final moments.
Yeah, most indeed. So, like, I mean, that patio side we know is so important. And I mean, you saw Watson just always holding it down, getting a couple of 2 pieces. Even Mythics doing such a good job of just finessing Chaxter, picking up those lanes, maybe being in a position to where he can, like, flank around. I mean, we saw Yako do that plenty of times. Just taking the long way around sometimes benefits you. And for a sub player, if you move really fast, playing for those pinches do work so well, especially in control, especially in hardpoint, any game mode, just being in that position. So Revenge Tour still, regardless, I still feel like there's a little things that need to be worked on. Obviously, Keza not really the best in the slaying department, but with a few minor tweaks and a couple more coordinated pushes, because we saw that they would quickly capture A. Like, they came out with the straight heat in that first round of control, but they really couldn't utilize together and capture B even after having, like, you know, that 2 minutes and 20 seconds right away. So just a little bit of tweaks on control and figure out those team coordinated pushes of how you want to capture B and winning those ones. And I think this is still obviously a top 4 team. They're still really good. Just got to make just a few minor tweaks. They'll be all right.
Sure, and it's hard when Super has a very, seemed like, quiet 35 bomb. Yeah, he got streaks, but he was doing his thing. Super, again, continuing to be the KD leader and really had one of the best performances in Season 1 that anybody could have, a 1.30 overall across all 3 modes. Like, the dude is unstoppable, and that is why this team is so good and why they should be contending for championships. It just came down to, could they close it out in Game 5? Well, they're able to close it out in round number 5. Ellen, now we move to a hard point. Let's take a look at the series layout and what map will be coming up next, because we're moving to Game 4. And if you have to steal a respawn, now is the only one to do it if you're Revenge Tour. This is the last chance you have if you want to send this to another S&D. Bocage Hardpoint. Again, one of Sucre Bakery's better map and modes. This is going to be another battle against Super.
Yeah, and absolutely. Like, you take down Super, this is going to be hard. You got to have those numbers. You got to be able to slay and be with the quickness. But if they manage to do this, man, that Game 5 is going to be scary if you're Sucre's Bakery, because the fact that, yes, this squad, Revenge Tour, is a very good search and destroy team. Chaxter, we know what he can do in search and destroy. Amazing stuff, and the ability to clutch up. But can you take this map here is the question. Can you keep that momentum, like, shift if you're Sucre's Bakery? Because obviously they got it. Already 2 kills off the break, but make that 3. But yeah, can you do it? That's the question. You got to do it here.
Yep.
And off the board right away, you see that Sucre's Bakery is, in fact, slaying the hell out. And what can you do? You know, we know this is a mixy map, Sean. And aggression is going to really matter here, but you got to be smart about it for sure.
It's got to be heavily contested on the P1. I mean, you can't really afford to give up 30 potential seconds early on because we're already going to be looking at the rotation over towards the tank at P2. But early here for Sucre, he will fall. Not much else to be saying on that first hill, but finally we'll have someone sneak through. It is Watson who'll get in position. Now he has to worry about Sucre right on his outskirts, and he will win that fight. So we'll see where the spawns potentially funnel through as we still work our way through the middle of the map. But yeah, Bocage, a very dangerous hard point, constantly in the action. Very mixy, as the kids say these days. But at this point, Ellen, you're basically looking just to maintain spawns and hold for now.
Oh my goodness, and what a hold from Sucre's Bakery that was. I mean, clearing out the back stables we know is important, but this is the favored spawns essentially for them. And no one really on the point here at the second, but of course, really Revenge Tour struggling with the spawns fighting from the front, but Watson able to take down 2 could be opposed to being huge here, as they're going to have to worry about those rotations towards P3's Grandmas. And I mean, Watson on a 4 streak now, thinking about streaks, still going off huge on a 5. But the problem is here is you see number 2, Yako, spawning out towards that back Grandma's area. They got to worry about these rotations, and that could have potentially jeopardized the fact that you lost spawns. But hey, might be able to make a play.
Wow, Mythics. I'm thinking about Watson just continuing to play for streaks, try to keep him slow through the back and let him funnel through to the hard point when he needs to. But already over to P3 we go. Hill new popped, and Sucre's Baker will be inside first. They continue their lead from what they built upon in P1. They were unable to really contest that following hard point, but credit where credit is due to Revenge Tour. They got the numbers inside, and it was up to Watson to watch those spawns, and he did his job basically to perfection. Now on a 6 free, it's Chaxter. 5 and 7 on your screen, still has an 8 to work with, and 4 dead in the kill feed, make it 5. All the potential pressure inside completely wiped off the board. Revenge Tour doing a very nice job of watching what they need.
Haha, and then I say that, and you know what's crazy? Mythics, oh my goodness, 5. What on earth? And I say with the favorite spawn, Sean, you can actually hold Grandmas from the front, but being aware of the fact that they have essentially flipped, now you see, look at that, Revenge Tour, able to pull it from the front, do take that time, and my goodness, on the rotation, you see Keza getting set up, but Sucre's Bakery already around in this barn area. Do manage to slay and push out, but Jack's going to be huge here on that Riverside mid-map. It's going to look to try to break, but I was going to say Revenge Tour doing a good job at holding them off bay and managed to clear everybody out. So the way that they're working this hard point, I'm telling you, that Grandma spawn, holding it from the front can be so beneficial. As you see, it kind of worked out in their favor. Now they have the lead, 84-50, and doing quite a good job slaying out.
Yep. And if you're Super, who just came off spawn, you're already thinking about River, and that was where he was initially before he met a gunfight that he inevitably would drop. That's 2 for Eric Boom, 5 dead in the kill feed consistently. The spawns are getting cleared, but you still have a bit of ways to work back into this game. We have about 13 seconds still in barn, but we are thinking about River, and we might have a lag out, so we will unfortunately come to a pause, and we potentially will be looking at a full replay as we'll see what happens. We'll get a call from the admins and figure out exactly what we need to do. At this moment in time, though, Ellen, it was pretty clinical throughout, right? Like, they were winning the initial hard point. They were holding it specifically for Revenge Tour. It came down to those big 3 pieces to clear, and then letting Watson get comfortable. It reminds me a lot of like what Draza was doing last year on Checkmate Hardpoint, letting him get pushed up, continue to fight against spawns, and pick up kills. And they were looking very, very, very hot going into that hardpoint.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, one of those teams that we've seen do it this past weekend, the London Royal Ravens, there's certain hills on Berlin, certain hills on Bocage, where you can actually, you think that it's better to contest the hill from the back, but it's actually easier to play it from the front. That Grandma's hill right there, Revenge Tour, even though that P2 hill in that back barn area, Watson able to clear him out, had that 5 streak, went huge. They essentially forced Sucre's Bakery to spawn closer to the new hill. But what did they do? They capitalized on those spawns. And even though it's like almost as if they wanted that to happen, trap them in that back like tank area, and then you have them coming from the back grandmas, you're pushing them for the front, and you can just literally have members held up in that sight line right there by P1 next to grandma. You have somebody holding river, you have somebody on the other side, like you're just essentially just like a U formation, trapping them in the back constantly over and over again, and then they ran away with the leads. So working on that rotation, then all you got to do is just back up to Barn. I mean, like they had that control, and man, it's unfortunate that there was a reset, because I mean, it seemed like the momentum there was in favor of a revenge tour, and I mean, essentially this is the game that they need to win, right? They have to win this here. They have to force a game 5 and get to that search and destroy. So I don't know. See what happens. It was looking pretty, definitely, mixy, right? That's the word we adapted,
that's
Sean.
the word.
Bow cage is mixy, and that was getting spicy for sure.
It certainly was. And while we wait to figure out exactly what's going on and where we'll sit in that game number 4, let's take a look again at the series layout, because we can give you a quick rundown of how this series has come to this point, where we started, where we're going towards, and potentially maybe even a game 5 if at this rate Revenge Tour are playing the same way they played in that game 4, because it was pretty damn good. Sucre's Bakery opened this series up with a 250-133 win on Tuscan, and they followed that map through for the next 2, and well, they fell in the S&D. It was not a great showing, but they were able to bounce back with a couple of strong defensive rounds and an offensive round win in round 5 in that control in a 3-2 fashion. Now we move to game 4 on Bocage, and this is again another map mode combo that really does favor Sucre's Bakery in the slaying department, but what we saw early on in the Hardpoint was anything but, Ellen.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, obviously the hard point that we just saw right now, Watson turning it up. We're really going to need him in the slaying department, really locking down those lanes. I want to talk about Keza too, for that search and destroy, for that swing factor. I mean, taking a lot of first bloods, Jackster doing the same. And that type of pressure we have been seeing. Even though they lost in the control, we have been seeing that in this hard point on Bocage. So that is essentially kind of what they were lacking in the first map. Yeah. Getting that coordination down, getting that pressure situated, and being able to push out in certain situations. And it seems like on Bocage, they really had that coordination just starting to flow together. So yeah, hopefully they just kind of clear that out, pretend like this never happened, keep going, keep that momentum factor going in. But yep. Yeah, you could tell that they definitely want it. And these guys are turning up for sure. Don't even pay attention to that first hard point, because that is just, at the end of the day, you got to scrap it. It's out the window. This is the map you're focused on. And you win this, then it's a clean slate, baby. We're going into that game 5. And again, back on Bocage. This is essentially what they wanted to, right? Sucre's Bakery higher seeded. Hardpoint control. 2, 4, and 5. For Revenge Tour. So you won 2, you got that step done, now win 4 and 5.
Yeah,
as they say, the Neslo team. Isn't that the thing that they say?
That's actually, wow,
the
that's
Neslo it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Revenge Tour, obviously you want to be competent in all 3 modes, but coming into this series, it was no secret that the game plan was we need to steal a respawn, and if we can force it to 5, that's probably where we win. So far, so good. Looking on the Bocage hardpoint, you absolutely could steal that, send it to a game 5, where this is one of the better S&D teams. That core 3 of Watson, Keza, and Mythics, you're talking about the lowest KD in S&D at a 0.98. Like, that's the lowest, and they're one of the better S&D teams, and they showed you why on Tuscan in game 2. So
exactly,
yeah, the game plan is continue that fire you had in the hard point. If you can off the reset, continue to work through the comms, make sure they're clean, and make sure everybody knows where they need to be on each specific hill. Let Watson continue to fry like he did at the end of the control, and we're looking at a very different situation and discussion going into Bocage hardpoint, or excuse me, into Bocage S&D. But at this point, we got a quick update for you from the admins. Revenge Tour will have a 40-point lead when we get back into it, so we will do a full replay, but we will have 40 points additionally added to the score. So they're going to jump in with 40 points already on their heads. That's a pretty good thing. So they just got to continue to work through the hard points the way they did in that map 4.
Yeah, for sure. Just inch your way there, work, and get that, so essentially 40-point lead. They already have. So, I mean, at least with that, in the back of your mind, you're going to be thinking, okay, let's just play perfect hard point, play perfect clinical hard point from here on out. And, you know, unless when it comes to numbers, Sean, and the stats, I love it. I love the stats. But if I don't have those written in front of me, I tell you what, I get dyslexic with numbers. I'm going to leave that for you right now. But listen, I will talk. Yeah, exactly. Caster math. I'm just like, you know, that meme. It's like, huh? You know. Anyways, but yeah, realistically, going into this, clean slate, 40-point lead. That's gonna, I love that word mixy. Bocage is so mixy, baby, but keep that pressure.
COD language is so strange. Like, mixy popped up really for the first time, maybe like what, maybe a month ago, and now it's the same thing we had chalked for a while, and it's always been like that. It's just, you never know.
Yeah, don't chalk it yet, guys. Don't chalk it yet.
Don't chalk it yet.
You're still in this. You still got this. Don't chalk it.
Absolutely true.
Sucre's Bakery, we know, is such a powerhouse, such a titan, and I mean, even just so before that first game ended, once Super, especially once that guy gets going, he is so hard to stop. This whole entire roster, and that's what I would be afraid of. Don't allow these guys to get going, because I promise you, once they start slaying, once they trap you, oh my goodness, it's hard. Like, don't get trapped. Don't get trapped.
I mean, the test for Sucre's Bakery is yet again going to be the same test they had in Season 1, which is if you go to a Game 5, can you clutch up? Hi, welcome to the Single Box. If you go to a Game 5, Sucre, can you clutch up? If you can't, it's the same woes you had in Season 1 that prevented you from potentially finishing first in the group and kind of what kept you out of the playoff run. At this point, they have to find a way to not only, obviously, from their perspective, clutch up in the game 4, but also if you go to an S&D, they have to play better in S&D overall, because Ellen, I think you can agree, it was pretty one-dimensional on Tuscan. They kept to the same strat. They tried to play for first blood over to B, but after that, there was not a lot of creativity, and they were losing a lot of the team fights consistently around the site.
That's right, and that's exactly what Revenge Tour does such a good job of. Like, they will play off they play off their opponents so well. They adapt so well. So it's like, hey, if this bomb site's still working, you guys aren't coming here, we're not going to change anything up. We don't need to. They might have some extra strategies that we don't know about, that we haven't seen, but guess what? They don't need to use it. So, save your strategies going into this. Bocage, oh yeah, if we make it there to an S&D, my goodness, it's going to be mixy.
My strategy is just shoot back.
Okay, I gotta stop saying
That's my strategy, Ellen. It's just shoot back. That's my whole strategy when I play COD, shoot back.
Yeah, shoot back. Just shoot back, win your ones.
Strats, coaching. Well, let's get into it. We'll give you, again, an update of how we got into this position, right? We started this game. Now we had to take a reset. We get back into this map for Hardpoint. Revenge Tour comes in with a 40-point lead already. We give them the score they had when they left. So if they get to 210, this game is done. Now let's get into the action. Again, P1 heavily contested, but early on, it was Sucre's Bakery who walked away with the early time before the restart. But Keza wants none of it. They want to put this game away.
Oh, that's right. And last time around, it was Sucre's Bakery that essentially was contesting this time and started to steal away from the lead. But Kessa went crazy on inside barn, just got down for 5. But although that was a nice little streak, and they did manage to keep Sucre's Bakery off the point. Now look at it. They are spawning out in that deep spawn side, but still, Watson and Mythics gotta go huge right here if they want to secure this back stable side. As Eric Boom, he's the last one alive there. Does manage to stay alive and win his one, but I don't think, why did Watson turn around? His teammate just died. This is going to be a huge one-on-one gunfight for Sucre's Bakery, and they're still holding control, and the pinch from the front and the back does come in.
Yeah, he was all alone. I think he was waiting for Mythics or Chak to at least get in a position to help, because immediately if he peeks, he's going to get caught from the fence line, and Watson, who had been so lethal in that position early on, needed just help. But Sucre inside with the Automaton gets 2, Yako with the 3rd, and again, the 4th. There's the wipe they were looking for, and while P1 was heavily contested going into this, they have to be cleaner on their holds in these hard points. So far with about 20 seconds to go, you are thinking about the rotation to P3, sure, but you're also continuing to get that scrap time because you know that you have 40 points you can't afford to give up anymore. Super through the back, very, very good. And early on, it's going to be Revenge Tour in the point.
That's absolutely correct. And this time around, you see it is Sucre's Bakery that has Revenge Tour spawning in the back side here. So Watson looking to control that tower side, and Keza essentially pushing up. Like, this is going to be an interesting break to see how Sucre's Bakery is going to approach this, but does help when you have Sucre going off and Eric Boom getting those trades in, though, of course. Chakster's set up still now. Flipping it just like that. Revenge Tour on the opposite side has Sucre's Bakery now spawning in the back, but still the time is going in the way of Sucre's Bakery. And yeah, overall, such a good job at utilizing Sucre's Bakery and essentially flipping the script right here on this Grandma's Hill.
We're going to slow things down with Super, but now you just have to work your way to the barn if you are Revenge Tour. You get a bit of time here, but it's really not enough to be worth the commitment. The 3 stack through the back, number certainly there, and as we get into the next hard point, you are going to be looking at a bit of a dicey situation, trying to move through for Watson at 8 and 6 on a 2 spree, not in the realm of streaks, but certainly a possibility anytime soon. Yako going to work his way all the way through the back. They want to maintain those spawns. Sucre's Bakery already thinking about 2 hills ahead. And Watson biding his time. Shaxter with 3. Now you make your move if you're a Revenge Tour. They get in, but they're still hunting for Super.
Yeah, that's right. Super is on the hunt, and he is managing to stay alive. So realistically, it's all about just valuing your life and trying to play around this point. And I mean, you see Shaxter just doing just that. I mean, 5 streaking out right now. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you see the 2 and 2 split coming in from Sucre's Bakery. They're going to have to collapse onto this point, and still managing to play his life. Sucre very huge on that Riverside. Overall, still kind of just waiting for his team to collapse onto the point. It's just been Revenge Tour, just able to clear out in value. But the scrap time still is good to pick up, and we'll still keep the essentially the score still somewhat contested.
Yep.
But again, it's Revenge Tour who are set up on that Riverside back P5 here, and yeah. Great job from Yako just being able to essentially just play pinches there. It still kind of seems in the way of Sucre's Bakery still, regardless.
Well, both teams very much struggling with the break. Every single time they're able to get through, you have about 15, maybe 13 seconds of scrap time to fight over, but by then it's a little bit too late. Now you have to worry about the rotation, and early on, the initial gunfights do go the way of Revenge Tour. They have the clean break, they have the hold, but really it's up to Shaxter to make the dirty work happen. Here comes Yako on the outskirts. Thanks to Keza, he'll work his way through for 1. Numbers now inside the point. Revenge Tour working their way nicely to a 100-point lead, or excuse me, 100 points in total for this game if they can continue to hold down this point, which it looks like they will, because really there's really been no contest. Sucre's Bakery struggled to get into the point, struggled to find kills on the outskirts, and from that, well, you don't really have a lot of time to be able to contest. Mythics for 3. Shaxter letting them know that you shouldn't challenge from the back, and no one's been able to get anywhere close to the point. This is a very, very good hold from Revenge Tour.
Indeed, that pressure that Shaxter has been applying to the squad has been so formidable, and I mean, they did such a great job at just holding that hill. Like, I mean, just look at it. Still slaying out. Mythic's doing such a good job, 17 and 15, and ultimately this, of course, we know is just such a scrappy hill. The job here is just to think about that P2 rotation, but still try to keep them off the point, and Revenge Tour do just that. Keza doing a fine job slaying out with that MP40, and I mean, running away with this. Revenge Tour again on the brinks of losing. They need to win this.
Well, they're not hitting it as a team, as a unit. They're getting picked apart one by one. Keza on a 5 spree. Shax on the outside. Shax, who has stepped up big, 15 and 13, and it doesn't really feel like it, but constant 2 pieces right on the outside of the point. More importantly, he's finding them as he falls into the hard point, which again makes the holds even cleaner. Watson, Mythics combining for 4 every single time we're into a new hill. It's 4 dead for Sucre's Bakery, 12 and 20 for Eric Boom. Not the greatest game, but even with these nades, they need to be in a position to rally that and translate that into a solid hold. They're just nowhere close.
Absolutely, and Mythics went huge right there on the rotational kills. He literally got 3 over by that back tank tree area, and again, securing that spawns for Revenge Tour, holding it here. I mean, Sucre's Bakery at this point, maybe you try to flip, maybe try to push through and get ready, thinking about that P3, but still, the contests are coming in. Revenge Tour doing such a good job at just getting those trades, securing it in, and again, Mythics, I gotta point out, big part of that time goes to him just for getting those rotational kills. So doing just a fine job at that. Revenge Tour obviously thinking about that rotation towards Grandma's and already set up. Revenge Tour is ready for the push of the members of Sucre's Bakery.
Finally, some trades. It's all pinstripes in the kill feed, which is a better sign if you're a Sukri Bakeries fan. But at this point, remember, it's a 40-point additional lead for Revenge Tour. They ended this game. We had a quick reset. We gave them their additional 40 points going into this. So it's really 193 and counting. If it gets to 210, this game is done. So you have to keep that in contest. You have to remember that you can't afford to give up scrap time if you're Sukri's Bakery. You must find a way to get in position to hold for 40, 50 seconds at a time. Those 4 pieces certainly will help. Now push to the back. It's Super. He has to stand up big for his squad. He finds 1, 2, can't find the third, but he does have streaks. Now that might be enough to turn things around.
Oh my goodness, but Mythix is just making the plays in the back still. He's waiting for his teammates to push from the front. He's still valuing his life. Super just went massive right there. The kills, but Kenza with the 3 absolutely going insane, almost for the 4th. He is huge right now, Sean, as he's still going on a spree. Able to manage to clear out Suki's Bakery, flip the spawn, and now they are set up over there in the Barn Hill for their rotation. Mythix is there.
If Revenge Tour get to 210, this game is done. You have a streak for Keza, and they're still on the hunt, but they just can't find him. He's baiting and diving around, but finally he will get cut. Regardless, Revenge Tour are in the hard point. They have plenty of time and all the resources to work with. They are finding kills left and right. Yako trying to stall them out as quickly as possible, but here comes the contest inside for about 36 seconds and counting, and there is a big kill from Yako. Finally, he gets himself involved, and the spawns are on the outside. So for Revenge Tour, you're gonna have to take these gunfights one-on-one, but it looks like the team shot starting to actually light up for once. Sukri's Bakery doing all they can to contest and hold this hill. They know they can't give up much more time. Yako with 4 is doing his job.
Absolutely went huge there, but Keza, can he answer back and say something about it as he's dancing around this tank hill? Yako does, though, manage to find him, and again, the flood is going to be coming in from the front, and still, the really good thing about this for Revenge Tour is they are set up on that new rotation. Keza is already there. That has been the advantage here that they've been having, and the streaks do come through. We know the glide bomb is a little bit slow, but not able to connect on any members of Sukri's Bakery. Again, Revenge Tour being set up still regardless, stopping the bleeding with that glide bomb does slow it down, and Mythic's able to get the whole entire team, might I say. Revenge Tour's looking hot right now.
Well, they only got one more push. You have to get into the point of contest. 210 is the score to get to. Revenge Tour look like they're going to do it here. The 360 from Keza, that might have been enough. That will be. No one else in a position. That's going to be game 4. Revenge Tour, get it done, and they'll be sending it to a final S&D.
I'm not gonna lie, I got so into that game, Sean, that I completely forgot for a second about the score, because I'm like, oh my gosh, all these members are popping off. Realistically, though, my goodness, all members of Revenge Tour did such a good job. What did we say? They needed to move as a unit. They did just that. Early on those rotations, we saw Mythix there, Watson, like literally all members of Revenge Tour were already set up, and they did such a beautiful job at just pushing out, slaying, and manipulating the spawns that Sukri's Baker really couldn't counter that. It was just spawning out and you get trapped. Couple of key moments where they may have had to steal away with that opportunity, but it really came down to Keza going crazy, and each and every one of individual members from Revenge Tour just taking turns popping off. Jax are doing what he needs to do, just soak up that hill time. My teammates are going off. I'm just chilling. They had it.
It was the same thing we saw from the restart. They come in with the fire. They're able to get 3, 4, 5 in a row consistently. The constant team wipes were a problem, but you look at just the fact that every single time Sukri's Baker were able to move in and contest the hill, at that point, it was too late. You were already lost 40 seconds, and you had to rotate, and you weren't really able to hold that much time anyway. So when it came to positioning, it was Revenge Tour. When it came to team wipes, it was Revenge Tour. When it came to being able to win that scrappy gunfight on the outskirts and then funnel that into a positive rally on the hill, it was Revenge Tour. Every single time they had to do what they had to do, and they got it done, especially on the reset with that kind of pressure. 40-point advantage, but still, it's 250 in the end. And I mean, even looking at these highlights, just consistency from Chaxter, from Mythix, from Keza. They were all producing all times on the hill.
Yeah, and man, I was excited for this game, man. I tell you what, just this, we're going to a game 5, our first series, and my goodness me, Sukri's Bakery, this is not an easy team, might I say, to do that against. The fact that they were able to do that, and you know, whether or not the question if dropping Chaxter was the right move for Denza, it worked out perfectly well just here in this Bokesh. I mean, like, he was able essentially to get the kills to allow his teammates to pop off. Again, I think the chemistry for this team was the right play. We're seeing it here right now today that it worked out. So going into this game 5, we know this is going to be a little bit scary. Just if you're Sucre's Bakery, because we know that this is a strong team when it comes to search and destroy, and this is a clean slate. This is a clean slate, Sean. We're even. We're 2-2. This is it.
With the way Chax has been playing, now this becomes a best of one. Bocage S&D.
Yeah,
I'm a
one
little
and done
worried.
wager?
Yeah, I'm a little worried because all of a sudden, Revenge Tour had the momentum on their side. They just proved they can win off the reset. Chaxer's playing great in the S&Ds. Again, a quick reminder, he went 10-3 on that Tuscan S&D in game 2. You put him on Bocage, you put this team the way they've been playing with that core 3 of Watson, Keza, and Mythics, one of the higher KDs as a trio in S&D in the region. Put him on a game 5. This is prime position to yet again go up against Sucre's Bakery. Not only take it to them, potentially win this series, but also continue to show that team that they're the better S&D team when it's time to clutch up. And for Sucre's Bakery, another situation where they find themselves in a game 5 that they absolutely should win if they want to stay at the top of the standings, because last season it bit them in the back.
Yeah, no, for sure. Exactly. And I mean, having that a lot of time, like overall, this team is just, Sucre's Bakery has just been getting better and better. Like we've seen them in multiple cups, like just consistently placing top 4, a couple of them that had top 6, top 16. But overall, like they've been sticking together since December, and they have that time to keep working, keep growing, keep getting better. And this, again, is a hard team to beat. They have been around. They've been stuck together for a few months. So just even to, if you're Revenge Tour, even to be able to take them here is huge. It's huge. So
S&D wins series.
It really does. I always say that S&D wins championships. So if you can win your searches, if you're a good search team, there's a lot of players that I personally seen over the years that have started off just growing in the search and destroy community, and just growing from that. Seeing in teams like this, they always excel in respawn because you got those search and destroy smarts, you got the respawn smarts. All you got to do is just learn how to apply it, and you're good. So Revenge Tour, they are that team that is very good at search. And yeah, this is a one and done wager, baby. $500. Let's go.
literally. And if I'm putting money on anybody, I'm putting it on Chaxer and Watson. The way they've been playing in the last half of this series, from the S&D on, the control is really where Watson stepped up, and Chaxer has really been able to put on a show in that S&D specifically. Sure. But you look at the S&Ds for Revenge Tour, Bocage being one of the better map mode combos for them, right? They've struggled in S&D, sure, but it just seems that, you know, you have that core trio of Watson, Kez, and Mythics like we've talked about before. Again, lowest KD of that 3, 0.98 in S&D. Then you bring in someone like Chaxter, who just dropped triple positive in game 2 in the S&D. They go into a game 5 with all the momentum on their side. For Sucre's Bakery, they've been in this position before, specifically in Season 1, where they were able to win it over Revenge Tour in a 3-2 fashion. But when they came to the playoffs, Revenge Tour won it 3-1. So for the story for Revenge Tour, it's always been about, can you steal a respawn? For now, it's just, can they close it out in S&D? And does Sucre's Bakery have enough to get themselves to kind of hit the regain button, slow it down, and be a little bit more creative? Because the S&D in game 2, that Tuscan was not creative at all. They were very keen on just playing First Bloods, and after that, we'll play trades. It didn't work, Ellen.
Yeah, for sure. Playing trades. And we know First Bloods are super important. In my eyes, if you get First Blood, you should not be losing that round. So when it comes to this Revenge Tour squad, I'm going to be looking at those First Bloods from Keza. He did a fantastic job of doing it in that second Search Destroy second map. And of course, Chaxter, 100% putting my money on him. But woo, on the other side, you can't count out, again, the boys of Sucre's Bakery. We know how good they are. The Spanish team is amazing. We already know super highest KD, like everywhere across the board. Really going to be looking at maybe some potential, I was going to say maybe some snipes, maybe some different strategies than from what we've seen from stage 1, but you never know. Getting right into it, Sean. I'm excited. Let's go. On the attacking side, Sucre's Bakery gonna make that fast push towards A. And here we go, going down Mythics with the first blood. Keza already answering back. What a fast electric round. Sucre last alive in a 1 versus 3. And boy, Sean, I wasn't expecting that one. With the quickness, with the heat. Sucre's last alive.
Bombs so far away. That is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, you have the weapon range to work with. Automaton could certainly peel a couple of scalps if you're lucky. Speaking of, well, now you've given away your position, but I don't hate the challenge at all. And at this point, I mean, if you could jump off the map, certainly do it. But You're going to try to play through if you can. Going to take a heroic effort.
Yeah, it really is just going to be about isolating at least one kill, but now the problem is you just shot. Everybody knows where you're at, and yeah, that's unfortunate. Revenge Tour with the heat take that really fast. And I mean, of course, convincingly Keza, right? Like Keza and Mythics, like, my goodness. Yep. Opening up, we said the first bloods was important, and immediately off the break had a kill, and it's like that just really just swings the momentum right away, instantly with that first blood. But going on the attacking side, we'll see how Revenge Tour ends up that one. That was a really aggressive push towards A. But this time around, now on the attacking side, Revenge Tour, let's see what they do. They might, I would say the play here would be just kind of play it slower, play for a pinch. Like, they came out, Sucre's Bakery came out really hot. All you need to do here, stun checks. Now you know exactly where members of Revenge Tour are, but still managing to stay alive, really good from Revenge Tour playing their life.
Oh, and that's a great challenge by Eric Boom to go low as well. Basically give him half a drop shot. But the problem that persisted in the Tuscan S&D was Sucre's Bakery were too fast moving up, and they didn't give themselves time to set up for any kind of play, and they would lose numbers. However, this time they slow it down. They learn from their mistakes in round number 1, and they have an advantage, 4-2. Bomb will quickly and quietly move its way towards A, but has a couple players in front it has to get through, and Eric Boom denying the push. Nicely done by Sucre's Bakery in this round to respond quickly. Mythics, though, could make things interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, what the like, you're in a 1 versus 3. Maybe play for streaks, but maybe isolated kill. But now they know where you're at, and at this point, it's like I would probably just play slow. Like, don't worry about the bomb, don't worry about tacking. Just isolate and get as many kills as possible. Rack up your streaks. But unfortunately, Mythics decides to try to get that challenge there quickly. But of course, members of Sucre's Bakery are going to be in those trading positions. Super locking down that mid map. The automaton. You know, I think it was with who said that? Proper Andy. The automaton, realistically, like, this is like a long range sub. Yeah, it's so crazy.
If you
so
have a good
fast,
shot, essentially it is.
It really is, and I don't know. You could just be in close positions like Super was that last round, but still on the attacking side, this time we're gonna see an interesting position towards the mid pier, and this time around they do stop. So
it's an AR's world, Ellen. We just live here. We
live here.
Speaking of
members of Sucre's, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, we live here, but you know, speaking of trying to buy some real estate for Yako, you'd certainly like to take a challenge that wasn't 400 feet away. We'll move to the bomb. How do you break into A? You're going to have to worry about Kez on the opposite side, and Watson on the outskirts will rotate slowly if needed, but you could play these numbers here for Chax. Unfortunately, he gets caught trying to get back to his teammates, and that's an opening that they desperately needed. Sucre's Bakery should be able to get bombed down, but Watson, quickly in rotation, he'll get one. Here he comes right onto the bomb, and he'll back away.
Yeah, that's right. And what a huge kill from Mythics that was, and a 2 versus 2 here. Gonna have to figure out how to isolate, and you see Mythics just kind of holding that lines of sight with his teammate in hand. But if you're Sucre's Bakery, you really just need to let that clock run and essentially peak when noted. But Yako, huge kill now, leaves Watson in a 1 versus 2, and that's gonna leave him. But Super able to pinch him down, does take him out that mid map, and oh my goodness, what a close round there. Watson could have potentially had an upset on that round.
Well, he played it well. He just lost teammates.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's tough to play the 1v2.
Indeed. Still
0-3 for Chaxter. Having a very slow start into round number 4. Someone who, again, was 10-3 in that Tuscan S&D. Again, these maps play differently for sure. Bocage is different. However, on the other side for Super, 4-1. Sucre looking for his first kill of the game. Maybe these nades will help.
That's for sure. And first blood goes to Revenge Tour. Watson does take down Yako, so huge opening here. Potential maybe to push up on A. Not if Super has anything to say about it. He always seems to be locking down that mid lane, which is super important. But this time around, does have an MP40 in hand, but the bomb does go down. Another huge kill from Watson. Might out 2 streak for him. They got the bomb planted.
That stun gives him info. You should first slide in the peak, but Chax ready for it. Eric Boom will meet his demise. Super in a 1v4. I mean, you're probably not going to defuse this one. It would take
Oh,
a
no,
miracle.
absolutely
It would
not.
take a miracle ninja, and I don't think it's going to happen. And I like this play from Super. Don't feed streaks. Watson's on a 2. Again, not super close, but rather keep that free kill away. On the rotation, more importantly, the hunt, Mythics. Going to start looking for where potentially Super could be, but Super might run into a couple in a moment. Just needs 4 seconds to get out of this round.
Yeah, it's really it. Just very smart plays. I mean, you're on the brink of getting streaks, and we know how much of momentum and swing factor that could be, despite the fact of, the win towards Revenge Tour. But going to be interesting to see if he can gather those streaks. But a tie game we have in I was going to say here on the attacking side, I wonder if they're going to do an aggressive A hit, but still Super definitely going to play a little bit mixy and aggressive here, is getting a little bit of blurbiage, but nonetheless, Sean, you might have to take over, but never mind. We're good. We're back on the board. Watson again with the first blood, and that is going to leave it hard again for Sucre's Bakery, but still, they are pushed up middle of the map. They're going to decide to maybe retreat here.
I mean, the first blood's big, but Sucre's Bakery are breathing a little bit slower now, knowing that it was not Super who goes down, because again, he might be your win condition. 1 and 3 for Jax. Watson again was able to open it up on a 3 spree, 5 and 2, but we get a little more aggressive towards the side. Yako drops. How do you play this now? You're out of position. You're on the other side of the field. Super is able to get 1, and he's thinking about streaks, but if I'm Revenge Tour, I'm collapsing. I'm trying to find any possible way to cut him down, and they do so. What a huge round. You take out Super, you take care of the rest, and you deny the streaks. That is a massive, massive round number 5.
Huge round. They needed that. Now they need the next one, but still, 1 round at a time. They are doing such a fantastic job at collapsing, and of course, it helps. It helps when you have the first blood. And Watson, game of his life right now, 6 and 3, doing just that, getting those important kills. And man, those bloods really do swing the momentum. And now you mentioned Chaxter 0 and 3, now 2 and 3, and streaking out. They're going for an aggressive play here towards that B, but I think the nades are going to come up. Stun checks. Nothing does connect here, at least for Eric. And now the play is essentially isolate, maybe get a pick. See Watson on that line, long line of sight on that barn side, pushing up towards that P2, but still, it's really just look for a play, look for a kill. Mythics does just that now in a 4 versus 3. Sucre's Bakery gonna have to hold.
First blood yet again for Revenge Tour. 2 rounds in a row. Bomb carriers, Chaxter. You're playing a 4v3 with about a minute to go. You can play this as patiently as you want. All it takes is 1 more kill, and if they get it on A, you're going to see that rotation come through. But Sucre on the peak, he loses it, and there's the push over to A. It just took 1 single kill. You play numbers, you probably find Eric Boom, and you get that bomb down. Yako has to get in a position to help. Eric Boom gets cut down. There goes Bomb, and Yako, what can you find? It's 1 on the outside of the bomb. Does he even spot Keza? No, Chaxter doesn't even get the plane off in time, but luckily everybody watching their crosses, and Revenge Tour hold that post-plant, or should I say current plant positioning to perfection. It's a 4-2 lead in the S&D. That's about as clinical of a round as you're going to see.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is what we talked about. You get to the last map, it's going to be scary because this team is fantastic at search and destroy. And what was really great about that round is the fact that Mythics was able to get the first blood, and then they capitalized on that. They are capitalizing so well on those first blood kills that it's just benefiting them. And it is unfortunate that Sucre is, struggling a little bit, 0 and 5, but still they're going to have to take this round if they don't want Revenge Tour to run away with that momentum. Yeah. See how they can counter it back. But immediately off the break, you see that fast push and that first blood do come in from Sucre's Bakery, and Yako does have the plant in.
This is the first time in 3 rounds they've gotten a first blood, but how long will it really last? Keza trying everything to find that follow-up player. It's 3-2 right now for Sucre's Bakery, and now a 2v1 as those traits happen a little bit too long. And this should be a round that helps them get back into the swing of things. Chaxter at 4 and 4. He's certainly turning things around in this game. Oh, he's so lucky. He's so lucky, but he turns at the wrong time, and he can't find the shots. Sucre's Bakery get a very desperate round back into their pocket. And man, in just terms of the momentum of this game, obviously better to be down 4-3 than 5-2, but slowing the momentum of a Revenge Tour for how quickly they had found first bloods in 3 straight rounds, Sucre's Bakery desperately needed something, some kind of life, because Sucre right now is a donut.
No, that's that's absolutely correct. Like, well put. And with that being said, I love the fact that Sucre's Bakery just immediately rushed, went to B, didn't even care about a first blood. They instantly just played for that plant, doing such a fantastic job. But Revenge Tour, how are they going to counter this huge gunfight? And like you said, first bloods are important. Eric Boom just won that engagement onto Mythics, and right away, Revenge Tour, kind of knowing where that engagement happened, going to go in for the plant, and they do get it down. So now in a 4 versus 3, they're going to path the hold and play defensively here. Is Yako going to work on that pinch onto the A site? Going to see if he can play for a pick, and he's got to play it patient. 30 seconds left.
Oh, he was in a position to potentially pick up another kill, but Keza's nade just picked him off the spot so quickly, and look how it collapses in the back. It's 2 more kills. Revenge Tour turned a very bad situation into a potential win, but Sukri 1v2. Can't win it through the fence. He can't find the follow-up shots. Revenge Tour close it out in that round. It was a great push from the back, but that nade from Keza just slowed the momentum to a crawl, and Watson is there to open the blinders and shut it down. That's such a huge round.
Just so crazy to me, especially considering the fact that Eric had first blood. They had the bomb, like, essentially in, you know, they knew where essentially the bomb was going, and my goodness, what a nade from Keza to stop that push, to stop the bleeding mid. But still, again, kind of this B site, you see Sukri's Bakery kind of working their way towards that middle. But Mythic's there to try to make a stop. Again, first blood for Sukri's Bakery. So that's 2 essentially down. And again, we got a easy B plant, and this might be an easy round for them.
Well, with that kill from Super, yeah, it probably will be. That's all 4 dead. No one drops. A clean wipe for Sukri's Bakery. I was worried for a moment. A 4-2 could quickly turn into a 3-2, but here they're trying to fight for that round 11. Nicely done off the post plant from Yako to immediately read a challenge. Shuts it down 1 round at a time. Sukri's Bakery send us to round number 10 and a potential opportunity to take this one the distance.
Oh my goodness. I mean, as I said that, I was just like, should be an easy round. And then, oh my gosh, Super turning up for the squad. I mean, if anybody's going to turn around the momentum, of course we know it's that guy, Sukri. 1-6 though. Got to answer back. You got to step it up. This is the last round that Revenge Tour needs to win, essentially, to win the whole entire series. The slow picks are going to be coming in. Essentially, just wait for a pick on both sides. You see, kind of favoring that A site. So they're inch their way and just kind of hold Barn. Barn, we know, is just such an important part of the map, such a power position on every game mode, I feel like. And the nade does come in from Yako to check, but nothing does connect. And still, got a little bit of a standoff here. Who's going to get that first opening blood? Is the name of the game.
Well, it's going to be Eric Boom. Holds his position, maybe 2. Nope, here comes Keza for the trade. They'll even lives out. First series of the day, going to game 5, round 10 now. Vaughn will move in, and Watson spots at least 1 in the back, so you do have understanding and wherewithal to know that numbers could collapse as soon as the bomb goes down. But the wall bang, do they get it off? No, he hops off bomb. Yako slides in and takes out Keza. So not only do you not get bombed down, you lose numbers and lead blockers on the site. Super just has to challenge once, and this round goes to an 11. This was a bit of a breakdown, and again, you're getting shot, so you hop off naturally, but what seemed like you had people in position. Maybe Watson for the 1v2. Watson gets both. Now last alive, it's Yako. And a 2v1. He's the only one up for Sukri's Bakery. The series lies on his shoulders.
Oh my god, in a 1 versus 2, can he do this? He has to isolate at least 1 player of the member of Revenge Tour, and he has to get the defuse. You've got 28 seconds to work with, but not enough. Oh my goodness, Revenge Tour for the complete upset. End up taking this 6-4 last map, Sean. My goodness, what a freaking game from them. And oh my goodness, holy smokes. I was going to say with Chaxter, that was so smart from him, though. Right there at the end, even though he knew that there was a member of Sukri's Bakery that was Sukri or Super, just right there in that backside, he didn't go for the plant right away, Sean. He waited, and that was so smart to wait and not immediately hop on, because especially if a member hears that, you got your teammate Watson right there in for the trade, and it was such beautiful patience from Revenge Tour to take that win. My God, well played. I mean, well played.
The patience from Watson played off. It played off completely, and to be able to pick up those 2 huge kills on the site was massive. I don't know how he's in position to do that. But with that, let's take a look at the series layout, because this one went the distance. It went to game 5. And what did we say? If Revenge Tour can just get it to a game 5, if they can steal a respawn, there's a good chance they might win this series. And that's exactly what happened. It opened it up with a 250 to 133 win from Sucre's Bakery. Tuscan was our first 3 maps, and you essentially split it down the middle in that game 2. The S&D was clinical. Revenge Tour did what they had to do. The control was as close as ever. Both sides on defense really stepping up, but it was an overtime win, and the offense having streaks that certainly helped for Sucre's Bakery. Then we go to Bocage Hardpoint for game 4, where Revenge Tour were lights out. The Slayer stepped up, the AR stepped up, the 3 pieces, the 4 pieces, constant hill breaks, and then that final S&D, Ellen. I mean, that was what we expected from Revenge Tour. If they can get it to an S&D, they have a very good chance to win this, and you see why.
Yeah, S&D wins championships. We say it all the time. And realistically, the way their team coordination, the change up from map 1 into that even final map, even to that that second hard point, they really got it together. They really just worked on those pushes, played a little bit more patient. I always say for this game, what makes a really good team is their patience, their discipline. That is so important. Working on, of course, fundamentals we know are important. Everybody has to know that. But what really makes what separates a good team from a great team is just having that discipline and being able to work off of each other. And Revenge Tour kept that momentum even despite the reset. Sometimes that gets to teams' heads. They're like, man, the game reset. We're gonna carry away for that. But able to hold on, take it. Like, they really just utilized that so well. And of course, it helps when you got first bloods, Watson. Yeah. My goodness. So. Yeah, good stuff from them. I look forward to see their progression as we go on through the season. And it seems like it really is working out with Jackster. That's for sure.
Certainly is. I mean, you know, outside of that game 5, again, he stepped up massively in game 2 and game 3. And so far, S&D continues to win series. When we expected it to, it does it yet again. Once more, congratulations to Revenge Tour on their first series of Season 2. They take it against Sucre's Bakery in a 3-2 fashion. Give them a little bit of revenge from that Season 1 debut. But early on, Revenge Tour looked good in S&D. It's going to put everybody on high alert. It's going to put us into a commercial break. When we come back, we will have the second series for Europe, and then we will keep you updated on the action. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue on after this. Welcome back, you little Call of Duty demons. I'm Spaceman. That is Dream Crazy, and we are going to continue to bring you guys through the action for Europe. We have our second series almost up ready for you guys to watch, and we will be getting through that. But first, we're going to quickly recap how we got here, the series that we just saw, and with that, let's just take a look at the standings because things have happened, Ellen. Like, we've gotten through a couple of matches. They have happened off screen as well, and when we look at kind of the updated side of things, talk to me again about the last series we just saw, how it played out, and how we got to a Game 5.
I mean, honestly, like, realistically, Revenge Tour, right? We kind of expect, going into this, we expected Sucre's Bakery kind of to be the stronger team, potentially take it 3-1, because we know that Revenge Tour, very strong search and destroy team, however, do lack a little bit in the hard points. But the swing factor here is they were able to take Hardpoint on Bocage and ultimately swing and push that Game 5, and they were able to take that Game 5 in a very convincing fashion, winning those first bloods. I mean, we already know strong search and destroy team. Yeah. And I was gonna say, yeah, super. I'm thinking Sucre's Bakery. Although that this is potentially this player being consistently top 4 throughout Europe, one of the hottest slayers in Europe, regardless. Ultimately took him down. So that is a win in my book. Revenge Tour, even though it was quite hard, still managed to do it. And man, for the first game, Sean, we sure did open it up with a spicy one, that's for sure.
Yeah, we really did. And well, hopefully the next series will be as interesting because currently up, it's GWR versus Toronto Ultra Academy. And this is one of the more interesting storylines of this entire split is that, well, GWR had to qualify for Season 2, and they did it in such interesting fashion, Ellen. Talk to me about how they got here.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy because the fact that they qualified after falling to losers round 1, that is absolutely insane to me. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, Depa's looking to break the T12 threshold, and yeah. I mean, this squad, ultimately, at the end of the day, Cobra, Depa, Deliver, and Nadox, just completely insane. And yeah, that's the suspense about it, right, Sean? We don't know what to expect because on the other side, we know that their opponent is not going to be an easy one. So yeah. This is easily favorably the underdog team going into this matchup. It's going to be a tough one again, but that's where this is. I mean, ultimately, it's good practice, of course, but that's where you're just going to have to utilize those search and destroys, of course, just like with Revenge Tour Game 5. Push for that Game 5 if it doesn't get to there, because we know, at least, when it comes into Ultra Academy, the next team, it's going to be very, very difficult, because we know across the board that this squad has been insane. They got Vortex. Now they have Furious, of course, with the swap out from Weeman, and then they have Harry and they have Beans. So now this roster is going to be really, really looking scary, as Furious is going to add quite the element to it. Sean, talk to me about the other info.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think?
Money Form, again, getting picked up by Toronto Ultra Academy. We thank the Ultra and the Rocker, really, for being able to pick up these teams. And we're seeing more CDL squads get themselves involved as a banner. So congratulations to this squad for getting put under Toronto Ultra. But more importantly, I think S&D is really the big concern going into Season 2, right? Their hard points, you look at the Bocages, the Tuscans, they're very good. And they're around like 50-50 when it comes to control. They have some room for improvement there. But the S&Ds is kind of where the ARs struggle. And that's what scares me about this. But in general, Furious as an addition can certainly help this team, especially in S&D. I mean, he boasts a 1.17 in control. He's at a 1.11, and he regularly will drop 30 bombs in control and has one of the higher non-traded kills in the region at 22.1 per game. So, like, he is guaranteed at least a 20 bomb. More importantly, he knows how to play his life. And in S&D, you talk about having an X factor. He certainly could be that. But for Toronto Ultra Academy, they placed 5th in Season 1 under the banner of Money Form. From there, they have a new home, they have a new brand, they have a new form they can absolutely hit, they have a new player on their roster. GWR is kind of the interesting thing for me, because you look at the fact they failed to qualify for Season 1, then they start in lower round 1, they qualify for Season 2, and the names on this team, and Depa might be the first one that stands out to a lot of players, but let's also remember that, like, Depa has always kind of been relegated to top 12 teams that have placed like 9 through 12. That has been his entire career. Now he has an opportunity, and this is his best chance to be on a roster that could absolutely excel, and one that could start to make some waves in Europe and potentially break that mold of being a top 12 squad. So you never really know what you're going to get from the young guns, but they have a lot of work cut out for them. And with that, we have a series we got to get through. It's Berlin kicking things off for game 1, Desert Siege for our S&D, and we'll be playing Control on Gavutu. If we need to go to games 4 and 5, of course, it will be Tuscan and Berlin to round it out. But I kind of like what I'm seeing early on. It really, for me, it's that Gavutu Control that stands out. Around 50% for Toronto Ultra Academy on that map, but really that's where Furious can shine. And Gavutu, especially with a 1.11 KD for Furious, this could be a series that very much hinders on that game 3.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, you know, looking at this map and rule set, I mean, you don't want to play Bocage on against Ultra Academy and notice that it is Berlin for the first map. But, yeah, when it comes to that, essentially that slaying power, of course, we're going to be looking at Furious. What he brings to this team is the fact that he is going to make their search and destroys better. He is going to make their control better, just overall, because he's just a complete powerhouse. And yeah, of course, when you got Harry, my goodness, that guy is insane when it comes to locking down those lanes. Gavutu, I would be worried to play them on this map because we know once they get going, they lock down those lanes. Furious with him slaying in that department, it's going to be very, 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 very hard to take. But just like we have always said it, take your 2, 4, and 5s, win those search and destroys. That's going to be the factor. Even if you lose this hard point, if you're GWR. But regardless here, thank you so much. Observed by Nathan, Shanks, and Dylan Road for the Observer teams back
Shout
there.
out to Observers.
They are amazing guys. Love them. Love them. Thank you so much for capturing the amazing action that we have. And as we hop into this, get excited for this one, Sean. It is Berlin Hardpoint. Gonna essentially have the favorite sides if you're GWR, and here you go, hopping right into it. It's gonna be the bloodbath.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit chaotic here in the office for P1, but we come into this series and we look really what Ultra Academy have been able to put together. I mean, Harry, who had a phenomenal year in Cold War, Beans as well, became a standout in the latter half of the season, Steve-O, and of course Furious. And well, they make the change. They make that trade for Weeman. They bring in Furious and they keep kind of that core component, that core group of 3, where it seems like Harry, Beans, and Vortex can absolutely turn this season around with that 5th place finish they had in season 1. You come in under a new banner, and at this point, I'm just looking for consistency across the board. They have to be good in all 3 modes.
Yeah, absolutely. And my goodness, we did not expect this one as GWR. Like, I mean, essentially, they already took the lead. I mean, they're running away with this, having complete control and starting on that favored side for that P1 hill. But as we move over to Mail, you see now Beans tucked away in that deep warehouse corner, trying to secure those spawns, but still flooding from the front now. Kind of just seems just like that Ultra Academy able to get the kills and clear off the point. Beans playing his life in that back was very huge as, again, they secure that back warehouse. They have spawns. Now, it's just going to leave the enemy team, essentially Guar Signs. They're going to have to get these kills. And I was going to say, they got 3 there. That's a beautiful clear out. I was not expecting that because essentially Ultra Academy looked like they had the upper hand. But again, answering on the defensive side, there's 20 seconds left. They're going to have to think about that rotation towards P3.
Yep, a little bit mixy. Worried about the kills and a couple of trades that certainly work out in their favor. But Ultra Academy able to break in and get a chunk of time, which they desperately needed after the opening hardpoint did not go their way. We are worried about P3 and top side of your minimap already. Ultra Academy thinking about it as well. It's Harry who's out first towards the dock side. And now you look for the break and potentially the early hold. Who's in first? Of course, Ultra Academy are there. And they have reinforcements through the back. Final kill. Furious finds one. Good start.
Absolutely, Cobra and Depa. These are the 2 players. They're going to have to wait for their teammates, but you see Harry kind of cutting off the mid-map there, pushing out, slaying out. Still waiting from the front. Kind of taking a little bit too much time still. Still 40 seconds left. They got to work at the break, and what a spawn from Cobra in the back, playing their lives. You see, GWR has the back now, and they clear off the point. Huge 2 from Deliver. And just like that, Steve-O left last alive at the point. Beautiful break, beautiful clear out now. There's 24 seconds left. And still, Ultra Academy is going to push for this scrap as, essentially, though, Harry on the rotation. They're allowed to do just that.
Big kill from Beans. Fighting over the last 10 or so seconds, finds 2. And luckily, Steve-O is there for the cleanup. He will get it. But yet again, the lead for GWR is they give up about 20, 30 seconds on that hill, but they maintain the position they had early on, starting off from that P1. It was basically a flawless hold. And now again, we look at their rotation. Bottom side of your minimap, Ultra Academy already set up, ready and waiting in the new hardpoint. They're ready to go. Steve-O might find the first initial entry, and if he does, well, that could certainly help with this hold. But slowly but surely, we wait for things to develop. As Steve-O can't win the gunfight, Nadax walks away with the win. That's 2 down. Ultra Academy certainly have the spawns in the back, but they don't have the pressure in the front, and they're getting wiped off the point.
That's right. That's absolutely important, is that pressure. And although they don't have the pressure, Beans does get a huge 2 in the back, valuing his life with that AR in hand and Harry to counter. And now Steve-O does get naded off the point, but still Ultra Academy is still kind of holding that back warehouse spawn. And GWR signs, like, I should say Guar signs? GWR signs sounds so weird to say. Guar signs. They still remain holding the members of Ultra Academy off the point. And we know this P5 hill is kind of like a P1 hill. It can get very scrappy, very mixy, and ultimately at the end of the day, if you can clear out all members of the point and get into those top 3 area, as you see Steve-O right here, just keep them off the point. That's all you really need to do.
Well, get your subs in a position to at least kind of contest and put themselves bodies first in the hard point, as now they work on the outskirts. But yet again, around 40 seconds or so as we fight over P5 and Broken. Naddox quickly looking for Furious, but he will not find anything for the moment. Nades ring out, but it's been all pressure and all time inside for Ultra Academy. 6 and 13 for Steve-O. Furious, the only one inside the point for now, but Cobra breaks things open with the 2-piece, and there's the flood. GWR desperately looking for their break, and they might have just found it. Naddox with another, and those ARs really starting to light up at mid-map. They were able to break through cleanly. Nobody drops. They get the last, 15 seconds? That's a very good break, and they're trying to get it set up for P1.
But how about the plays from Beans, though? Early on that rotation to P1, he manages to take out 3 members from Guar Signs and absolutely went huge. And of course, being set up is important, but look at this. They don't have spawns. That is the issue here. Although having that early rotation, they do not have spawns. It's still Guar, and ultimately in the back, still managing to fight from the front and the back. You see Ultra Academy holding on. And ultimately, still, the trades do come in very scrappy, very mixy. We know P1, and it is. P2, you see Harry's already kind of set up mid-map, 30 seconds left. And it's just going to get really scrappy here, but ultimately, it's just close by a close margin still. It's GWR that holds on.
It's been dangerous for Depo. He's really the only one inside. If he gets spotted, I mean, that's the break they needed. And Furious lights up with 2. Make it 3. It's a collat, but here comes pressure from the front. And Harry's the only one inside. He has to stand up big. Depo might be the next victim, but at 15 and 10, and more importantly, the spawns locked in the back. Ultra Academy did such a great job of breaking through. And now it's hit the rotation and leave it up to Steve-O to find one on the entry. He can't find it. Regardless, though, damage is done. He's set up for the next hill. And what a great job by Ultra, but GWR doing a good job of just staying contested, staying with the action. Depa looking for the entry. He can't find it.
Absolutely, and they have to worry about Naddox that actually is tucked away in that back warehouse and still waiting patiently. You see Depa does spawn up, and Steve-O doing a great job at zoning out, pushing out of the lanes, and still just like that, 34 seconds left. They do manage to flip spawns, and very huge going in for Signs. And Depa, like I said, Depa, Cobra delivered. They all just cleared out the point and valuing his life in the back. Naddox did a great job of that, pushing out through the front. You see Depa zoning away and working on that rotation towards the lobby hill. You see Ultra Academy is set up, but still by going off still, like streaking out, Depa does fall to Beans. And again, it's really going to be Naddox working this rotation, but he does fall. And Ultra Academy still hold on. They could potentially here swing it over and have a lead change if they hold every last second.
Yep, we make it to the lobby, and already Ultra Academy are inside. Steve-O working his way through Broken. He will escape down to the fire route. We'll see what he can find as he works his way into the hard point. Now you double stack, 2 on the outside. Beans has Depa in front, and he will win the initial. 1 more on the other side. Can he find anything? Beans now on the hunt. Shots ring out, but he can't find the kill or clean up any. Steve-O gets dropped as well. That might be a blunder through the back, and here comes the push. GWR with numbers inside, but it's a 2-on-2 hit through the hill. And again, a big win by Furious. That's 2 kills for Harry. Furious with 2. Cobra the only one contesting, and he drops quickly. 3 more dead, all purple in the kill feed. Ultra Academy, ridiculously good at holding this hill. I don't know how they do it, but with those close spawns, they have not faltered yet.
Man, absolutely. I mean, just they're manipulating the spawns, right? That's essentially what they wanted to do. Stack on the point, flip the spawns towards the rotation, towards that train hill, and make them spawn in the back. Able to slay them out. They did just that. But now, the problem is here, I mean, and this has worked in other people's favors, is fighting train from the front. We've seen that in situations where teams might trap them in that back warehouse, and you see Nattox is kind of linkering around in the back, but Ultra Academy able to clear all members out, do recognize that they're going to be pushing from the front. You see Beans turns around, everybody turns around, and ultimately, it's going to be GWR that does spawn out and have to flood it from the front. 33 seconds left remain.
We're closing in the 200-point mark. Ultra Academy can certainly put this game away with the length they've played it at. The level of slaying they've had as this game has gone on longer and longer. Beans and Harry really stepping up. 22 and 15, respectively, a 6 streak and streaks as well. Beans could be putting more players in the dark. Let's see what he can find from his POV. But with all that happening on the outside, that's what, 15 seconds that continues to go the way of Ultra Academy. They go from what looked like 190 points to around 220. One more hill is all they need for GWR. You got to stop the bleeding, and you got to do it now.
Yeah, and if the bleeding were to stop, it really would have been Cobra right there on the rotation. But Furious is absolutely playing out of his mind right now. 27 and 18 on a 3 streak. My God, another kill for him as he is just streaking out. Currently, Beans as well, 23 and 16. Ultra Academy is doing such a fantastic job at locking down every single lane, controlling the top areas, but if this is going to be a flood, this is going to have to happen now as 237 to 170. GWR does have to push in. And ultimately, it's still Ultra Academy just controlling the spawn, slaying out, and just keeping them off the point.
I mean, that P1 hold from GWR was lethal. But since then, it's been all of Ultra Academy on every single point. They've contested, they've held, they've had reinforcements there. They're on the chase. Steve-O, great discipline to get behind and wait for reinforcements, potentially for teammates to push up. Everyone in position, 3 more dead. I think this game might be done, and I think that's a Game 1 win. Ultra Academy, so clean in the end, and they absolutely fried their way through the opening hardpoint.
Yeah, man, and in such a convincing fashion too. I mean, realistically, all members of Ultra is just completely slaying out. You have Furious, who's doing his thing, getting all of the hill time, getting those close engagements, essentially, as we see Cobra right there take down Furious. But I mean, look at the stat lines. It speaks for itself. I mean, across the board, Ultra Academy just ran away with that. And I kind of that was kind of a surprising performance, might I say, too, from GWR, because, I mean, you look at Ultra Academy and you're like, man, these guys, they're stacked. They literally manipulate and do everything so well. They're so good.
I mean, they certainly turned heads in the first hard point, and we're thinking, okay, you start off with 50, 60 seconds, and all of a sudden, you're putting a lot of pressure on Ultra Academy to be able to respond in kind. And very quickly, we saw that Ultra was up to the task, but for GWR, it was consistency down the stretch. They had a couple of good breaks, a couple of good holds, but not enough to really rally a lot of hard points together, and they couldn't chain any of the money hills. That's what Ultra did. They were so clean, so precise. And how many times do we see them in situations like this where they found 3 pieces, 4 pieces, wiping the board, and they just found ways to get extra time on hills that should be contested?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even just right there, we saw that there were certain situations you see Nattox on those early rotations, but it seems like they really couldn't capitalize on that. Like, they would get control, they would get spawns, but they just weren't winning those key gunfights to be able to zone out, to be able to push Ultra Academy back into a position that they want them to be in. They had a hard time doing that because of the numbers, and it seemed like Depa and Deliver, especially considering, kind of slowed down a little bit. Had a really, really hot start, but then slowed it down mid-game, and kind of just when you get in those situations where you are trapped, sometimes that pressure can easily fall on a squad, and it's hard to recover from. So how easy you can recover from those situations, which obviously would make a better team. And Ultra Academy, even though being down, they still were able to recover, and they did a fantastic job. Obviously, it goes to show when everybody is slaying out. And my God, Furious, great addition to the team. Over 2 minutes in hill and over 30 kills.
Nice.
That's a great way to start off your opening debut on Ultra Academy.
Yeah, he had, what, like 21, 22 non-traded kills in that hard point, matching up with the stats he has usually in control. Early on, we talked about the fact that he could be a difference maker in S&D. He could be a difference maker in those game 3s, and he's doing it already. Again, he came over from the originals. He takes the place of Wee Man, And I think that the automaton in his hands certainly works, because they handled Berlin and it was not close down the stretch. But you look at the series layout, you look at game 2, and potentially could be a very, very quick 2-0. We're not going to call it here, but we will say that the clinical precision from Ultra Academy certainly helped them in that opening Berlin hardpoint. Now to Desert Siege, where you're going to have a parallel AR on the other side for GWR to match the efficiency of Furious, of Beans. How do you do that on Desert Siege? You're going to have to find a way to step up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, I was just kind of taking a look at a couple of these stats here for Desert Siege. I mean, I don't even know if they did play this one in group play. I believe they did. Sorry, I'm just like looking through all the numbers. But yeah, in terms of statistics wise, Furious, obviously a great addition. I'm really going to be looking for maybe a potential sniper in somebody's hand from GWR. But my goodness, I mean, maybe even Harry. Maybe we'll see Harry snipes, but usually I believe it's Beans that we'll see with that in his hand. Yeah, as we move on along, I don't know. I'm really curious to see if we're gonna see a strategy change up, because when it comes to Desert Siege, typically sometimes we'll see a little bit of a change up at A. We'll see an aggressive maybe B play, but really when it comes down to it on this map, Sean.
Yep.
It's going to be those first bloods with snipes. We see it.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, the snipes for sure. If you have a counter AR on the other side, it can play a little bit slower on the edge and be able to really work the island, pull the snipe away from someone rushing with the bomb. That certainly would help too. And that's where the slow AR, someone like Beans, really might come into effect here. Furious was very keen on kind of sitting in position and letting kills come to him. So even if you designate him to that spot, there's multiple layers here for what Toronto Ultra Academy can really do on this map mode. But in this game too, we also have to talk about the fact that it was a hot start for GWR in Berlin. They then were unable to really rally anything together. They were getting broken very quickly and their setups were not clean. From there, you go into an S&D where you're going to have to kind of make things up on the fly. You're going to have to call audibles on Desert Siege because it is so open. I do worry just a little bit. You know, they made the big run through the lower bracket round 1. They qualify for a reason. There's no question they deserve to be here. But they are going to have their hands full. Things cut out for them. All those words put together in one sentence. You get the idea. It's going to be a lot.
I get the idea,
ask,
100%. You know? And I was going to say, Sean, when I look at the name Deliver, and I'm an old head, I popped in and out, you know, quite a few times over the years. But when I look at this name, I think Bressy, I think Team Obtain Esports, like back in the day.
That's a throwback.
Like I remember Deliver. I remember seeing his name. So
yeah.
Was that? I think so. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we all lost a year.
Yeah, Deba was playing in like Black Ops 4 as well. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure Obtain was around then as well.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, these guys definitely have the potential because, like you said, they were losers round 1, came back, won everything to get here. These guys deserve it. Don't count them out. It's just the opening, you know. It's just the opening game, getting the shakes out. But even so, yeah. Gotta be able to shut down Beans, those long ranges of sight. Careful of the snipers, but my goodness, Furious though, seriously, what an opening game. That's what I'm gonna be scared of for him, because whether it's a sub, whether it's an AR, this guy he adapts to his surroundings, he adapts to the map. So gonna be looking out to see if maybe there's gonna be a little bit of switch up between that AR, between that sub, that MP40, maybe some mid pushes. I'm really excited to see what we're gonna see here, because how many times can I say see in a sentence? I'm excited to see it. I'm excited. I'm excited to see
gonna be exciting.
What we're going to see.
He's going to be really exciting because, again, he boasts a 1.17 in S&D.
Yeah.
He is clearly brought onto this team for a reason. And you look at a team like this that has Beans and Harry and Steve-O. That's a stacked trio as it is. Like players who have already proven themselves, specifically last year with the years that all three of those players had. Cold War was kind to them, and they put in the work to prove it. And you bring in someone like Furious, who quickly has clicked with this squad. I think that's the thing, is this roster change. I think a lot of people were wondering how it would work out. It seems that already it's worked out quite well. And
so far.
And if they continue to click like this is a team that could go from 5th place last season, from a team that maybe underperformed to a lot of standards, to, again, a potential playoff run esque type squad. That is a whole sentence, and this is a whole opportunity to get into game 2. I am ready to see what Desert Siege has for us. I can't wait to get into the action. Ellen, we didn't do predictions really at all today. I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Give me your prediction.
You know what? We think alike, duo. I mean, I'm not really a big fan either, because you just can never count it out. You never know, especially with Vanguard. The game 3s always swing factors. But as we go into this, honestly, Ultra came out hot from that first one. I want to say these guys just have what it takes, but man, your first matchup is Ultra Academy. Like, and this is so hard. It's so hard to say, but you know what? I'm gonna say Ultra 3-0. I'm gonna nip it in the bud. I'm not gonna debate. I'm just gonna say they're gonna do it. They are hot. They got a new player. You talk about a core 3, Harry, Beans, and Vortex. Steve-O, my goodness. Like, these guys, you think about Journey, Metals, and Lucky. You think of those 3, right?
Isn't that?
I love chaos. I love chaos. These guys, they're in the honeymoon phase. Trust me. Love it. They want it. They got it. Here we go. Off the break. Look at that. Well, they want it. They want it. That's 3 down already for Ultra Academy. Excuse me. Look at that. The bomb is down, Sean. This is Cobra. This is not good. This is not good, Cobra.
We love seeing the new squads in the league. We love seeing these new teams make it to the new season. Fortunately, your first S&D round comes down to a 1v3, and Ultra Academy wastes no time. Same thing they did in Berlin. They get it done very efficiently. 1-0 lead on the opening round. I mean,
that was fast.
Harry is this far pushed up on the map, running an automaton in round 1. You're going to have to find a way to slow him down.
Yeah, I promise you. It just seems like...
You love chaos, Ellen.
I do love chaos, but like, you know these guys. These guys, like you said, core 3, we've watched him last year. Furious, I've been personally watching myself, just even when he did play on that original roster. And I just feel like that first map, they were just a little bit sleepy. They woke up. They're ready. Beans, looking on these lines of sight here. Didn't see if he can get an opening pick, but already...
Bomb's going down. Yep. It only took him, what, 1 hard point to get woken up a bit. There's second blood. Nadoc's going to get in position. He will at least try to even things out. It's a 3v2 in favor of Ultra Academy, and there is a sniper on the other side, so it's going to be Deliver who's going to have to work that island, but Beans can slow down, can't land the shot. Nadoc's gets 2, and they have retaken mid-map quite nicely.
Yeah, indeed, and now in a 2 versus 2.
Oh, yeah.
Nadoc's is on the bomb for the Dvifi, so Steve-O does get the kill, so that's very important, and yeah, ultimately setting up in trading positions down that line of sight. Got Beans 2-0 for Ultra Academy, and ultimately, yeah, that car we know is very very deadly on one of the more impressive head glitches in the game. Ultra Academy with the heat. Steve-O, by the way, 3-0 right now.
It was an impressive recovery at mid-map by GWR, for sure. And even though Steve-O, again, has yet to drop here, you can look at the other side for Deliver having to play against someone like Furious, someone like Harry, but in these positions, you'll take stuff like that where you swing back to mid-map, pick up 2 kills. We'll wait on the plant. We'll pick up a kill with it, wait on it again. So no rush plant. That's 2 dead, excuse me. Now even out at 2-2. Bomb in a weird spot. Things might have been different if you instead committed to the site, but now you have to fall onto the cobble steps, and it's up to Steve-O to find the angle. Did Deliver see him? Deliver should have. You got to finish. Oh, no. Harry just takes out Deliver. Oh, no. That is not okay. That can't happen in this round. It's a 1v2. It's Cobra. Oh, it's all breaking down. It's only round 3, but this is a huge 1v2. You have to solve the momentum. Ultra Academy have no business walking away with this one.
Absolutely not. And I mean, look at Steve-O just tucked away on that bomb. Very, very close for Streaks. Just needs to get a kill, but ultimately, yeah, there's 25 seconds left. Man. You got the bomb down. You got members of Ultra Academy who are set up almost dang near impossible. In that situation, yeah, run away. Run away, maybe jump off the map. It's just don't feed Streaks. And even though it wasn't Steve-O that was able to get the kill, it was Harry who had a very impressive kill on to Deliver. I was wondering the same. I was like, oh my God, did you see that? But able to quickly snap and recover.
Deliver should have seen him, and then he does.
Yeah.
Empties 3/4 of a clip. Listen. There's nerves for sure. It's only your first. It's your first matchup, first series. That you're getting
official,
through
man.
on main.
It's official. Okay. Those nerves. Yeah, it's okay. It happens. You still got plenty of time to recover on this, but. How about this, Steve-O with the aggressive plays? Not expecting that. Nadax now gets taken out in their spawn, and this kind of leaves Deliver on the opposite side of the map, kind of by himself. So he might be able to make a play here if he can pinch maybe through the middle, but keep in mind, I believe he may have a sniper in hand still.
Yep.
Might be able to get a pick. The bomb does go down.
Yeah, it depends on how quickly they were going to check bomb. If they could find the trades, that rotation from the back would be a lot harder for Beans to make. And we'll get one. Does have the MP40 to work with, so this isn't entirely undoable, but he's going to stick it. Can he get in time? He will check for one. Does he find it? There's the clutch! Maybe no! GWR stick it, trust each other, and by a millimeter, they get the defuse.
Sorry, I really tried not to scream there. This is what I did at the LAN event all weekend, and I was on the verge of losing my
Sometimes
voice.
you have to.
Sorry, I just get so excited because
get dicey.
For a second I thought he had that. Like, wow, what a play. If only maybe he checked the bomb first, but I couldn't. Sometimes the vision on the map sometimes can be crazy, but regardless of having that, it was so beautifully played. Just a second sooner and he would have had it, but regardless, still, Alter Academy is not going to falter. Let up on that. On the attacking side, you see Cobra with the first blood now getting set up towards that ace site, but the bomb does fall. And now it's going to be up to Harry to stop the bleeding, but regardless, able to recover in this in 2 versus 2. Let's see what Beans can do with that sniper in his hand. Deliver does get a pick.
It's a big response from Deliver. It's Beans yet again. This time in a 1v3. He was able to make things a little bit more interesting last time. Couldn't quite kill the player defusing. Milliseconds away from winning that round, and it basically being a 4-0 lead for Ultra Academy. But he has a snipe on a 3 spree. 28 seconds to go. I mean, you should just get bombed down here. Oh. Maybe not.
Yeah.
And there he goes. Okay.
Yeah. That was tough. And ultimately I still don't think Ultra Academy is worried. I mean, at the end of the day, Beans, kind of a tough situation right there, but realistically it was Cobra. I mean, kind of aggressive push off the start, kind of countering as to what Stevo did that last attacking round. You see Cobra kind of follow up with that same aggression and was able to get that first pick, and it kind of allowed them to work their way onto that A bomb site. So now on the opposite side, you see Ultra Academy, Stevo with that bomb in hand making his way towards B. It's going to be Depa there that is able to hopefully stop the push and Deliver tucked away in the corner. But Deliver does get taken out, and now that is the opening break that Ultra Academy needs to get this plant off. And Harry with the 2 makes it much easier.
His opening 2 kills will certainly help as well. Nadax looking for the response in the snipe in hand, but just can't find the angle as nades ring out over the site. Bomb is down. You got about 30 seconds to play with. And Alex just needs to look a little bit south. Oh, didn't even spot the crown of the head. Doesn't matter, though. It's a 4v2. How do you retake here? You have no idea where Harry might be. And you're running out of time to make a play. Cobra through the back. It's going to get cut down as quickly as it happens in the front. Everybody drops. Ultra Academy, one more round on the board. 4-2. They keep it going.
Yeah, keep that momentum going. And, man, what a great opening pick that was there for Harry onto Deliver, of course, to be able to collapse onto that A site. And, we say that it makes it much easier in Search and Destroy, obviously, if you get those first bloods. And playing the name of the game and the patience department, obviously, right there. Harry able to take down 1 and pre-aim, baby, pre-aim. 3 streak for him. And Ultra Academy still sitting very quite comfortable. Again, last time around we saw Guard push up onto this A site. Harry able to stay alive.
Another first blood.
And and the first blood's from Furious, of course, stops the push.
It's tough. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of snipes get hit today, but Furious gets 3. I mean, that's the thing. It's consistent. Harry on a 3 spree, Furious on a 4. I'm pretty sure he's gotten 3 this round as Cobra goes on the hunt, but I mean, they know where he's at. He's got nowhere to go. Maybe gets 1. Oh no, there's no way. There's no way they let him escape. They will cut him down. Ultra Academy off the back of that first blood. Put this one on match point. It's about as easy as that. They get the first blood. They get the follow-up. You're playing a 4-on-2. You're probably not going to lose that round often.
Absolutely. All members of Ultra Academy are just on their game right now. Playing, baiting and trading, Furious, doing his thing, running up along the map, clearly just 4 streaking out right now. But yeah, they're all pretty much just comfortably. How to answer the back though, but still on the defending side, this is a must win for GWR as they're going to be down 0-2 in the series, but See that bomb from Harry kind of holding down those light lines, but the mid push from Beans takes down 2, now into 4, 2 versus 4. And oh my God, just crumbling and falling so easily, so fast. Kind of similar to the first round. Ultra Academy do take the search and destroy. Quite predicted, Sean, in a 6-2 fashion. Very fast, very clean. Coming from the squad.
Furious boasts a 1.17 in season 1, and he's boasting probably even better after that one. 5 and 6, well, maybe not as much, but still, you get the idea. He's pretty good in S&D, and that is what he brings to the table. He has been clinical. This team looks good. They look poised, and a lot like the Tuscan S&D we saw earlier today in our first series, Ellen. It seemed that Toronto Ultra Academy, there was not a situation they couldn't work their way out of, nigh shoot their way out of. They just found ways to put first blood and the second kill untraded on the board. If you're constantly going into rounds as GWR and you're down a kill or 2 early on, you have no way to set up. You have no way to get yourself through mid-map. You're constantly playing off the back foot. It's so difficult.
Yeah, for sure. And again, they were really they were capitalizing on those first bloods, and it really seemed like Cobra was kind of showing some signs of life for GWR, like just essentially getting in those fast pushes. But it's really hard again when you had Steve-O doing it. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you have all members of Ultra Academy slaying out, baiting, trading, playing in those positions. And I mean, Beans just absolutely dominating. And with the addition of Furious, I think that this team, I mean, essentially they look much better. They look top form almost, if you will. Just slaying through everything and just knowing what they do, knowing what they need to do, and doing just a good job of that. But as we take a look at the scoreboard, you could see, as I mentioned, Cobra 6 and 7 really tried to step it up for the squad, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. I don't know, some situations just miscommunication, of course, getting blooded. It's hard. It's really hard when you got the best team, one of the best teams, in the league that just, top 2. I think this is easily a top 2 this season.
Well, they certainly
Ultra
could.
Academy.
Yeah, they certainly could turn things around from the end of last season, and you add in the addition of Furious, and all of a sudden the S&Ds become a lot more predictable. You look at the control games where he regularly will drop 30 bombs, and again, has one of the higher non-tradable kills at around 22.1 per game. They go into a control for game 3, which they're guaranteed to probably be pretty good at. And all of a sudden, GWR are scratching their head saying, this series started 10 minutes ago. We might get swept. So you have to find a way to slow things down. And really, that comes down to the parallel ARs, right? There hasn't been a lot of sub pressure we've talked about because the ARs have been lights out in this series. And that is where you need to have someone slow down Furious on the other side. Deliver maybe is that key, and if that is the case, you have to start putting more attention towards Toronto Ultra Academy's ARs because they have been disgusting today.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Harry had 5 first bloods. 5. I believe was that Beans had 4. Like
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's you know, so you're right. Shut down those ARs. If you can shut down Beans, you could shut down Harry, essentially, and you might have a chance. But guess what? We're going into Gavutu control. How are you gonna do that? Well, maybe get behind them, maybe position yourself in a way where your subs can flank around, get out of those sight lines, because if your ARs aren't winning your gunfights, maybe, but we know Gavutu is like a 4 AR kind of. We've seen some teams run 4 ARs. We've seen some teams run 1 sub 3 ARs. The 2 and 2 sometimes we see, but it's just really situational and adapting to how your team is playing. But in this situation, you gotta figure out a way to shut down those ARs. But how can you do that too when your subs are popping off? It just seems like everything.
You're gonna have to try to like isolate and zone. Like you're gonna have to pull Harry away. You're gonna have to pull Furious away if that is the case, because then you deal with Steve-O, right? Like you have to deal with him in your face, especially when it comes to some of those points, trying to work to the beach, trying to get into the boat. Steve-O's gonna be a nuisance the entire time. He's gonna be a hard kill, but you'll have to take that as just as a neutral. If you can zone out the ARs, if you can make Furious's job pretty difficult, if you can keep him on the outskirts of a lot of these gunfights and constantly pepper him with nades, pepper him with stuns, and isolate him in 2-on-1 situations, take him out of the equation, you have an absolute chance to be able to steal this one. But I gotta tell you, Ellen, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be one of these maps where it's going to come down to the first 2 rounds, right? Like if Toronto Ultra Academy walk out in round 1 and they blow the doors off the place and they're able to seal it up and it's very clear they're in rhythm, this could be a quick control.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think really what Furious adds to this team, like, you know, you have Beans, you have Harry locking down lanes, but Furious too, like, you'll see him in positions to also essentially play more aggressive. And I think this team needed that previous money for him. But ultimately, as we hop into this Gavutu control, we know P1 is really, really important to lock down. We already see Beans there. We already see Ultra Academy just kind of in that situation to where they're locking that side of the map. So as all members do fall of GWR, still not able to get a tick. It's just Ultra Academy taking it away with the slaying power.
Steve was in a position to potentially rid those spawns very quickly, but even with that, he goes on the hunt. He finds himself at least a kill. Now we move our attention over towards gun side as Cobra has a gunfight in front that he will walk away with. And numbers here currently for GWR, but do they put pressure on B, or do we continue to draw our attention over towards that A point? Because it's essentially splitting your resources and forcing the fight of Ultra Academy. And I kind of like this decision because you're telling Ultra they have to fight you on uneven ground and they have to pull their attention away from different zones at different times. So maybe we try to inject some confidence into our young guns, but at this point, it just hasn't worked out. It's all purple in the kill feed. It's a life lead for Ultra. It's a defensive hold as well. They're doing everything they need, and they got the power position to go with it.
Absolutely. It was Cobra that kind of slipped through the net there that could have maybe potentially created some sort of, you know, bleeding for Ultra Academy because he was pushed up. But ultimately, the slaying power still coming through. We're going to see probably Ultra Academy try to isolate and trap GWR back into that back beach area. And Beans just distracted me from the screen, gets a 3-piece, and just like that, the trap is set in. You have Beans who set up in the back. You have number 8, Furious, who set up watching that cliffside. The trap is perfect for Ultra right now, but able to answer back. GWR does break out. Not enough time, though, unfortunately. Very easy, very comfortable Ultra.
Well, Ellen, Beans got streaks. He stayed alive for as long, and it seems that the question of will Ultra come out and blow the doors off the place, very much so on the defensive side. Now, again, defense is a lot easier, and we look at the fact that Furious was probably added to this team to help with those offensive rounds. You have streaks you can play through. That is a resource that is currently here. Will it come into effect? We can only know, but at this point in time, I'm a little bit worried. This round, if they go for B off the rip and they get it, oh mama, oh brother.
Oh my, yeah, and we know that essentially going for B is the harder site to capture. So why not? If we're slaying out like we are in the first round, why not? Let's just push for B. But ultimately, GWR does hold the push. Cobra, you see set up on that that anti-air gun, very important power position on the map, able to answer back. And now this time around, kind of have Ultra Academy pushed a little bit back here. But you see Depa 5 streaked out, holding this line of sight. That's all. This is the name of the game. Just hold them and trap them.
Automaton MP40 doesn't matter. Depa giving them a taste of their own medicine. Now on the rotation, roaming as a Slayer, finds 2. Can he find the 3rd? He's got streaks in his back pocket, and I like what I'm seeing. The confidence from GWR is they're more than happy. Just respond with Ultra with the same exact strat. Get very aggressive, put the pressure on, force him to make a decision late, but he's behind. Depa hasn't been stopped. He's on 7 in a row. Might get cut down. The nade will take care of it, but the damage is done. He gets what he needs out of it. The life lead there for GWR, and Ultra were so confident to go over to B. They now finally get their feet inside the A point. Is it little too late? Well, this next couple of kills might spell the difference.
That's right, and we have 8 seconds left to remain. Stevo, as you see, trying to zone out a little bit and push, but Depa is the last one alive. Does manage to take out 2, but does follow up with a team kill and deliver. Able to get the trade, but still, it is Beans alive last on that point. There is 7 seconds left. Does throw the stun out, but the team kills are coming in from GWR. This is not good, but still, the tick does come in for Ultra. Still, might be able to get this tick, and quite comfortably, the stack does come through. The fast capture does come in, and the extra minute is secured. But now, that is it. They have to hurry up and rush over towards that beach side, or if they're able to trap in the back, you see number 8 it's Furious doing just that.
Yeah, and where are the spawns right now for GWR? Okay, I think they got the squad spawn, so they can at least try to contest, but here come the streaks to try to open this one up. It's all on the beachfront, and this should be a free kill in front. It will be. Beans finds Cobra, and you have numbers inside. The time will stop at 52 seconds, and what was a 2, 3, 4 kill game for GWR quickly collapses. Now all dead even. Beans still has a streak, and he's looking for more in the back. He at least gets one, but still, time taken away. We're investing a lot, and we've had a couple of team kills, but both sides using their streaks to try to secure this round. It's a lot to invest, but if it pays off, it's huge for GWR. They have the kills to follow with it. 10-7. They keep it going. They hold the line. 37 seconds to go. They might have done just enough.
Yep, just that, but they have to worry about Beans flanking around over from green side. He might be able to make a play here as he's going to have to win this one with Depa, but Depa might be able to get timing on him. He does get taken down, so now 22 seconds left remain. Ultra Academy, this is basically essentially the last push, but they have to go fast, and it's really hard when you have Natox pushing into this P1, but 13 seconds left. It might not be enough. That first initial push to B may have essentially made them, well, the correct terminology, may have punished them, and it seems GWR does take that. You can breathe. Tying it up now. Think of it as an even game, but that, my goodness me, was a close one because, again, when you get trapped by Ultra Academy, that back green area, if they're able to isolate on the attacking side, Sean, it is so crucial. Yep. And it's tough to get out of when you do get trapped up beach side, but not able to essentially succeed through that. Now this time around, we see GWR pushing towards A site to work and secure that extra time. Can they do it?
Depa and Cobra were the two factors in that last round for GWR. They're essentially the reason we sit here in a tie game and not a 2-0 lead for Ultra, but it is worth noting that with the team kills aside, both sides investing streaks. They both use the glide bomb. That's a lot to use on one round, especially this early into the control. As Toronto Ultra look for the break, it will get cleaned off the point. And another solid defensive hold from GWR keeps this one kind of tied near the middle of the map as we regroup and wait for reinforcements.
That's right. And you know what's crazy? On the side of Ultra Academy, Harry, I feel like he hasn't even begun to warm up yet. He just got like 3 back-to-back kills. Now he just evened up his KD. Now this is the scary thing, that exactly what I was talking about. You got Furious pushed up beach, securing this lane and kind of forcing GWR to push that beach side. You got Harry, who set up top LST, and then you got Steve-O there for essentially the assistance. My gosh! With the pistol too, like this is the trap, again, that you want. Isolated, completely isolated GWR. They have to figure out how to break out, use those stuns, use those nades, and isolate at least maybe a player.
They gotta win a gunfight. Like, if you want to break out, Ellen, you gotta win a gunfight. You're down 23-16. You got under 30 seconds to go. You need 2 waves. 2 wipes is the only way to get onto the point. You're getting shot by a pistol. Harry with another triple kill, 15 and 12. But he's been doing it lights out every single time he's need to pick up a big kill. He finds 3. He finds 4. Now they move in. A potential chance for GWR, but they got to get onto the point. They have to put somebody inside. You got 4 seconds to go. Who's number 2? It's Deliver. He's already escaping to B, but he'll get cut down quickly. Great read from Harry. So well done. That nade might check for something, but surely this is a chance. No, the nade's there and it clears him off the point. No one else was around. And Ultra Academy get a second round on the board on defense. That nade from Harry, more importantly, the guy who threw it, is absolutely pulling Ultra through this defensive round.
Can I just point out that Harry, at the beginning of this round, he was literally, not even the beginning of this round, beginning of that little streak that he went on the end, he was literally like 8-11. Not even, or 6-11. Like he literally he just turned up, and that's exactly what you don't want to happen if you're GWR. But oh my goodness, now this time around, you see Ultra Academy, instead of going B this time, they are gonna aggressively try to push and get set up at A, because we know that this top boat area is so important. And Harry, huge kill, does get taken down, but still on the opposite side, you see Beans, you see Steve-O with him in hand. Now they're simultaneously pushing both B and A.
They're on the attacking side. They've opened up with 3 straight kills. Finally, a response from GWR as they move their way in. A couple of shots ring out, but it's the cleanup in the kill feed that matters most. What can they find early on? Well, you have Koba working towards top down, and beach pressure certainly there for Toronto Academy, but in this position, it's Deliver who might be able to play Spoiler through the back on Beans, but Beans reads the pressure early, and there are the spawns. So this is where Toronto Ultra Academy need to swing their attention. They have to worry about the follow-up hit after follow-up. They're going to have 3-4 waves in front, but all purple in the kill feed. It's ridiculous. They are untouched on B. Finally, the white, but guess what? All the attention over towards the beach side. They can just put their foots on A. They have streaks. They have positioning. Mid-map controls there for Toronto. It's so clinical at this point. They're basically just playing with the round.
Yeah, but now, I wonder if they get punished for this now, because if you look at it, they did get 2 ticks of progression at B, but you have 45 seconds to work with. Essentially, A is getting depleted. This could go scary if they don't slay out right here, but still, they have to essentially get all the kills, which they did. Good. Now they have to push up. Yeah, good job. Now they got to push up and cap something, because you're on the verge of losing. There's 30 seconds left. They did get that clock stop, and of course, the streaks do come in. So that slaying department is definitely beneficial for Beans, who is still going off. Keep in mind, now the trap is set. Ultra Academy, all members are down. My goodness. B is captured.
Oh my God.
A is captured. Everybody's slaying out, Sean. This is absolutely insane. 4-17. This is it. This is it.
GWR breaks up the slaying monotony with what? 2-3 kills? But it's 15-2. We entered this one with around 20 kills aside. That's it. There's no way GWR are winning this round. And that's going to be the series for Ultra Academy. It has just been clinical, disgusting, non-stop in the kill feed. Series done. Ultra Academy win control 3-1, and they win the series 3-0. That was insane.
I'm just like, wow. Because
that was
that
what,
round,
11, 12 straight kills?
Absolutely. Like, I don't even know if all I saw was purple. Something like that. My goodness. Like, when we talk about Harry, like I said, who was at one point in that round, 2, like, almost double negative, and just turned up. Just turned up. The setups that they had were just unbreakable.
He turned up real quick. Like
for science.
He's hold my controller, and I'm going to put 30 on the board. We didn't even talk about Furious often in that game because it was constant 4-mans across the board. Everybody from Toronto Ultra Academy getting involved in the kill feed. And when you said they needed to get a 4-man break, what do? They pulled off the beachfront. They get over towards the boat. They get the break, and then they got another break, and then another wipe, and then another wipe. And they just kept it going. Ellen, I feel like it's tough to compare how GWR played in this series, because when we look at the replays of this one, it was so one-sided. It was so Toronto Ultra in this series. But that is not a discount to what GWR can do. They just ran into a better opponent today. And Toronto Ultra Academy are the real deal in this European region.
No, 100%. Like, but you know what's great about it is they have a lot to work from. Like, they can go back, they can watch this VOD, and they can just look exactly like at what they did wrong or what they could do better and improve on. But yeah, again, I noticed that too. Vortex had the ability to somehow slip the net, and in certain situations, they would have that sub player or just essentially set up to where they can trap. I mean, you see the aggression coming in from Beans, again, flanking around, setting up in positions to where they know where they want to trap the enemy, and they did just that in such an amazing fashion. And although we did see some members of GWR kind of just show signs of life, it just wasn't enough if you don't have your ARs slaying out. And unfortunately, Nadox was struggling against the power of Harry and man, like Furious, all of them, they just locked down the lanes in the map so well. And props, of course, to Vortex Stevo, just getting in those positions to where they can set up to trap, to trade. And although not enough, it was really fun to watch regardless, because, man, when Science had those streaks and that momentum shifted in that round, I really thought maybe we would go to a round 5, but maybe, potentially. But yeah, nah, it's what did we say? Quick 3-0 that was predicted.
You predicted it. You called it on the nose.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, this feels like a 3-0. And Ellen,
yeah,
Harry's intuition, right? Knowing when to challenge B, the quick nade over to A. Beans leveling up with 31 and 15 performance. Furious 18 and 17, but he did his job. He was able to be there to secure kills, to secure routes, and lock down those lanes. The ARs, you had to slow them down, but GWR just couldn't. I mean, this was
look at the offensive kills. Look at the offensive kills. 36 from Beans.
This was a stomping.
Complete stomping. But honestly, you know, coming into here, regardless if your signs just look where you came from. Look who you're playing to start. Yeah. This is not easy. Give yourself credit. Shake off the dust because these guys are beasts. Cobra specifically doing everything he could, especially in that last map. But like, take what you can from this VOD, learn from it, just apply in the future in the next game. Really get that work on that coordination. Those ARs holding down those sight lines, those lanes, and those subs pushing up for pressure and just really coordination because they got the gunny. It's not that the gunny's not the problem. Just got to get the coordination together and they could be an easily contested team.
Yeah, I mean, that is where, you know, obviously if this was like pro level, having a coach would certainly help, right? Like there's certainly the talent there, but we got to put all the pieces together. And certainly GWR have what it takes. They got here for a reason, but you're going to run into talent like this who have been tried and tested. That's the phrase, for years to come. And for a lot of these players who had such standout years, specifically in Cold War last year, they have translated that success early on here at Vanguard. It's only season 2, but my God, what a season is shaping up to be. Ellen, recapping that series, it was a 3-0. Toronto Ultra Academy very happy, and I'm sure Toronto Ultra very happy with this pickup because Money Form are hitting their form right now. They are lights out. They're slaying their way out of situations. Their teamwork is great. You can tell the communication is certainly there as well, the way that Harry was able to turn around on a couple of those engagements. But talk to me, what is the key for this team moving forward if they want to have a better performance than a 5th place spot in season 1? For this season specifically, what do they need to do to stay consistent and keep up the slaying prowess?
You're talking about in terms of Ultra?
Yeah.
Keep doing what they're doing, honestly. If we want to talk about maybe like a weaker point, maybe work on their opening breaks. We know that first map, GWR kind of stole away with that break off and kind of started to run away with the lead, but either which way they were able to recover. You look at this squad and you're like, damn, like they're really close contested even with pro level. It's hard to kind of say specifically what to improve on, but if you really had to look at like statistically wise, just certain little things, just maybe those opening break offs and just recovering from those hard situations. But honestly, this team's got it. I really would love to see them contest against on the other side, the champions from Stage 1, the Minnesota Rocker Academy team. And that's just this is going to be an exciting season, Sean. I think to open up, we started off in the way that we kind of predicted, and I look forward for more.
I can't wait. If that's the quality we're going to get, especially with CDL teams now getting into the mix, I'm certainly excited. But I hope that you guys enjoyed the first 2 matches here from Europe. Again, there's things happening in the background, so we'll keep you updated as we have them. But that wraps it for this side of the broadcast for today. We are going to be coming back at around 6:30 Eastern time, so don't go anywhere because we will have North America coming up. But until then, get yourself a snack, get some water, and join us at that side. We'll see you in a little bit.